This is Chronic Curiosity. Real conversations with real people. Here we go.
Up right now. Yeah, that one's fun. That's
Interesting.
honestly, I think that was one of the awakening moments for me in the last decade.
Decade.
Decade
I
was
like that.
it was the consideration of me as an individual on a timeline. And when you consider, all right, so like I said, roughly human life is 100 years, right? So we think 100 years when we're living it is a really long time. But when you consider how long we have recorded humans, how long we know that there's been humans around, obviously, and I think this is started what made me like question like history, and not question it like a weird tinfoil hat in a way. I think there's plenty of things that happen weirdly, but the thought of, all right, we have a like you live 100 years. What do you see that happens in your lifetime? All the different changes, the relationships, the news stories, the politics, the geopolitical bullshit, war, whatever it might be, through generation, through generation, through generation. So we have this like really often this distorted and twisted view of what we are as humans, because it's all coming from our own perspective, right? So then you understand, all right, well, how long have humans been around? What are the things that have happened that we know of, in a sense? And understanding, history is always written by the victors, right? All the history that's been lost, that we know has been lost, like Library of Alexandria, like how much knowledge of humans do we have that's lost versus that we have that's actually true? Like real hardcore true, like true, like actually factually happened. We're about to approach an age that we don't know if anything's real. Like unless it's funny. I used to hear that my grandpa said, I never really knew him, but said like, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see.
Yeah. Wow.
So this was when like TV started coming out. So don't believe anything you hear on the radio and only half of what you see, even in person, because we can fool ourselves. Like what we see sometimes isn't exactly like what we perceive it as and understand it as. Doesn't always necessarily reflect exactly what's happening, especially when it involves other humans. So that histomap is really neat because that shows, was it 4,000 years of basically empire power history, like through different government, like through different nation people nations. I don't know the right word for that. Whatever. Like, and then it shows how much power they have. So left to right is 100 like that's the percentage of power that government peoples had at the time. So like you can see like right in the middle or just down below the middle, you see like the Mongolians,
right?
How like their empire came out and they were just slaughtering fucking millions of people. I think they actually like they discovered, there's some thing that I've heard that the Mongolians, they killed so many people through their warfare that we could actually see a carbon footprint receipt from the reduction of human beings at that time frame, because they went through and they just slaughtered so many people. So like they were able to like somehow connect like the history of carbon dating and like on the earth, that it was like, oh, like there was a drastic reduction of human beings during this time. And it was due to just kind of the same way they look at all the fish we're killing and all harvesting in the sea the last couple hundred. Like there's some kind of imprint, whatever. But sorry, I digress. If you look all the way down to very bottom left of that map, you see a little spot that says the United States.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like it's perspective, right? Like we like for the past 50 or last 100 years or so, the United States, we felt really fucking we got some real bravado going on.
Yeah.
You know, we got our chest, and like you realize, like, hey, guess what? This has happened before.
Yeah.
Rome's in there on that left. You see
it's
how
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, but compared to the rest of it,
Yeah.
not that huge.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That is so crazy.
so
Yeah.
it's kind of a cool, and that's only back to 2,000 years or 4,000 years
4,000
prior
years,
to
yeah.
us. And then you look at spots like Göbekli Tepe
Mm.
or the pyramids of Egypt. That really, they like to say they're 4,000 years. Well, Göbekli Tepe has been confirmed from our knowledge that it's well over 13,000 years old.
Wow.
So that's that
it
times
looks, yeah, another
3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And how did they build that shit back then? And we're just this little dot, little dot on the map.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So my brain goes, all right, doesn't fucking matter. I don't matter. Universe doesn't give a shit. The earth, humankind doesn't give a shit about me. Why would the earth, the universe, or anything else really care?
Mm.
So then you make it what you want, right? Make it worth something to you.
Yeah.
People around you.
Yeah,
Juan,
that's so
you got
crazy.
me. You got me rolling already. Sorry, she's like, oh god, we're gonna do this. It's a neat thought.
I did point out the map, so
It's your fault.
I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, Juan.
Sorry, I was curious, and I got some good info out of it.
See,
Thank you.
it's a friend. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, small, very small, United States.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so many things that you could relate to that. Monetary systems, fiat currencies. You realize like through time that these giant empires, Rome, and how like money was created, and how it's formed civilization, and then on average, currencies last about 100 years, and that's not even like them being worth something. It's on average through history, a currency usually lasts about a century and then it fades out. And then like typically it gets devalued incredibly way before 100 years. So there's just so many like cool things throughout history that if you can't kind of put yourself into perspective on this whole thing going on.
Well, how do you think it's the dollar's pretty much getting devalued by what? By like credit cards and stuff like that now? Or like there's no...
Well, it's a whole monetary system.
Just the monetary systems.
Yeah, like we took something that like we took like, and that's a lot of people. Well, in my opinion, I'm not an economist or whatever or anything like that. But seeing what we've seen, like, we have the Fed bank,
right?
Well, it's not actually ran by the government. It's like the separate entity that like the government like is in bed with, and they're the ones that somehow control our fiat supply and like all. When you realize like how much fuckery just goes on in the system, you're like, oh, this wasn't what it intended to be. It's and a lot of times people will blame it on like late stage capitalism or just capitalism in general, which are two different things. But like capitalism in general is the thought that like, hey, we're just all going to be like, in this free environment and we'll let the market dictate what happens. But then you start having consolidation of control. So that's like saying, we're going to let the market dictate what happens with grocery stores. But then Walmart figures out how to do it right, to how to get people's money, how to provide cheaper food, so then they create this monopoly because they figured it out how to scheme the game.
Right.
And then the government comes in and starts putting regulations and laws and all these things in. And then they start creating laws and regulations that actually will hurt other people instead of Walmart, because Walmart is paying them a bunch of money or, giving them jobs when they, I have all this nepotism and cronyism coming out of so you realize all these things are like interconnected in one little piece. It's that, what the butterfly effect is really what's we're evolution. They're all kind of thoughts of the same
Yeah.
thread of like all these things affect each other on every level.
And I mean, there wasn't supposed to be any monopolies. I mean, that was like part of like
Yeah, but how do you control? How do you
you can't
stop a
control that.
monopoly
That's the thing. Like
if you give people free will?
besides like the government's intervening, which they don't. I guess they pretend to do, and
Sometimes they intervene a lot.
Yeah, and then they're but here's a little money to not bug me about it anymore.
Yeah,
Like with campaigning and stuff and taxes and
it's so
Yeah.
much. There's so many loopholes. So there's
Yeah.
but that's the part of being human, right?
Mm.
Is people being people aren't always good people.
yeah.
Like there's evil fuckers out there too.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
There's bad people out there. There's people that want to do harm. There's, as much as like I'm not a religious person in a sense, but like in the broad sense of good and evil, like there's good people out there and there's fucking evil people out there. Like no matter how much you don't want there to be, there's evil people out there. So you have to account for them too. So it's this constant balance of how do we handle this as a human race, as a society?
Yeah. I think luckily, I mean, it feels like there's more good people than bad people on Earth.
I hope so.
It feels like it, but you never
sometimes
know.
the bad people want to be. They want the power.
They want the power, yeah.
Because
So
that's what makes them shitty.
Yeah.
And sometimes the good people just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
But that's
Most
a problem.
of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. But
and then
until someone comes along and wants your fucking women and children and wants to burn your village down.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you're like, oh well, what do you want me to do now?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
balance,
complicated.
right?
It's pretty complicated.
Like sometimes you have to be Peterson taught you, I'm sure you're familiar with this.
Oh,
We've talked about Peterson before.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to be capable of doing very bad things.
Yeah. He talks about being dangerous.
Yeah, you
but
have to be
doesn't mean
dangerous.
Did you go see Peterson?
I did, yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
When
It was
where
awesome.
did he go?
He went it was in Akron. Akron or Canton? I always get those two mixed up.
Okay.
Sometimes
from
it's
here.
called Akron Canton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought
It's
you were.
all-
I
it
thought
all
you were gonna
blends
go
together.
see
It was
him.
there somewhere. It
Yeah.
was awesome. It was a
Was
great
it?
experience.
What was that like? Like what
Well,
was that whole? 'Cause I've never been to anything
Yeah,
like that.
so I've never been to anything like that either. I love Jordan Peterson. He's had a pretty big influence in my life, positively. He has a great book, the 12 Rules of Life, and from there I just kind of I like what he talks about. And a lot of it is kind of like aligned with my beliefs and stuff. And this tour was for a new book that it's coming out, I think, in November or something like that. And it's called it's either We Who Wrestle with God or Those Who Wrestle with God. And it's kind of a tour of there's people out there that battle with is God, is he really out there? So stuff like that. And he seems to gone through Christian phase now where he's believing a lot of what the Bible says and trying to interpret what the Bible says
Right. I've
and
seen
his
that
own
kinda, yeah.
with his own
He's got an interesting spin on it all.
interpretation. And and it's it's cool. And that's kind of what it was about. It was talking about how us humans have purpose, that all of us do, and we need to find it. He didn't exactly go into detail how to find your purpose, but gave you kind of hey, this is kind of how we're made. Made several references about different chapters of the Bible,
Right.
like Exodus and or not chapters, books in the Bible.
There is
it
a
was
lot of
cool.
interesting stuff in there.
It was just
in the
cool.
Bible.
Yeah, it's just it's whoever took the time to write all this stuff, obviously there was some purpose behind it.
Yeah, he's an interesting
It's,
character.
and yeah, for him to be such a guy with such high IQ and very extroverted and just ready to talk his brain out, because he just and it's so cool. He just sit there and pause for 10 seconds or something. He's gathering all his information in his head.
Yeah.
He's just one of those people that really thinks before he speaks, because he's so influential that most people don't. We typically kind of just process things pretty fast and spit him out. But he really calculates everything, and it's kind of fascinating to watch someone operate that way. Like
That's what's
you just know he's just smart, like just by like hearing him and like watching everything about it. It's just like crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what at least impressed me about him is the way he articulates himself. Um, he was. I understand why people have struggles with some of his messaging
Mhm.
sometimes. I definitely understand how easily he is taken out of context. I see a
That
lot of
too.
that too. I see a
Yeah.
lot of attacks on
Yeah.
him that are being taken way out of context. But that's kind of what happens, right? When you are pushing the boundaries of thought and consideration and um yeah, I'm not smart enough to understand all the things that what he's doing. You know what I mean? But like you understand that he's it seems like he's being very sincere and he's just trying to think through life.
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain his
Yeah.
thought process and like how, because I've heard him talk a lot about the Bible and he's been kind of doing that for years, but he
Yeah.
seems like recently transitioning into more of like taking it less as a like, and there's a lot of really good values and stories in the Bible. It's there's a lot of really good threads in the Bible and
Yeah.
a lot of crazy stories
Yeah.
and a lot of really fucked up stories.
Mm.
Like I've read it a couple times,
Yeah.
so like I can
Yeah.
say it. Like
So
there's some weird shit in
and
there.
I've read it before too.
But it's like it's still there's a lot of information in there.
Yeah.
So like I get where he was like pulling stories out of that and like human threads and all of those things about how we move through life and the people where do we come from, who
Yeah.
are we, what's our destiny, our purpose, all these different things. But he does seem to be starting to lean towards he's like believing in that there's something that's going on that's more than just we just happen to be here. We just happen to find ourselves, through billions of years after some kind of weird explosion that we're just here. Like it seems like there's some weird shit going on.
Yeah.
And there's probably more to this story than any of us really know.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. I think we just have a little bit of information. It's like we're at the tip of the iceberg, like over here you have on the wall.
Oh,
And I just
that's a whole different.
yeah. But I'm just like it's just like I feel like we just don't know a lot of things that But the Bible is cool because it's like not just it's not just focused on like just the religion aspect of it, but it's also like a tale of like history tale. Like, hey, this is how we all started. Like, and it's pretty interesting to see all the things that went on.
Do you have a if you don't mind me asking, do you have a particular belief on like how this whole thing happened?
Oh, I mean, kinda. I mean, I feel like everything or not everything, but a lot of things in the Bible are like explained in a way that's like that you could have different paths of interpretation, not like fully like this is it,
Well, words
like
mean something, right?
yeah.
What's the intention behind
But
them?
what's it? Yeah. So he's not very. The Bible is not very like okay, like um, like I created this in 7 days. Like, was it 7 days? Was it like more than 7 days? Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of things like that. Like, you can really interpret it in different ways, without losing track of like what the actual story that's being told.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that it all starts with like, knowing the truth and not knowing the truth, like sort of thing. Like not knowing that you're naked and then you eat something that's forbidden and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, whoa, like what just
Knowing
happened
good
here?
and evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like the apple. Maybe it wasn't an apple. Maybe it was just like that's just a way of like representation of what happened there. Like,
Well, I don't even think
Right.
apple is ever technically referenced. I think it's fruit.
or fruit or whatever fruit it was. Yeah. I'm sure.
So it's like a lot of people, but that's
Yeah.
throughout time,
or
right?
apple. Yeah.
What's the
like-
story? What's the
Yeah.
story that's being told
Actually,
throughout
yeah.
time that makes your mind go, "Oh, it's the apple"? But
Mhm.
like, I think
Yeah, maybe it was an apple.
depending on depending on who translated at what time, how, like, in all the different languages, and you figure that's what we talked about 4,000 years here, right? So I've even known folks and been under, like, had some education on, there's people that think that the earth is 6,000 years old and that's it. And that's our timeline. That was how, like, that's it. The entire universe was created. Like, the Bible began 6,000 years ago, because that's what's recorded in the Bible. Like, that's what, like, when you go through, was it Chronicles, where they start listing all the kings.
Yeah.
And, Esau begat Himram, and and it's just, so it's like they take it so literally, and there's a lot of, like, where this is the word of God. Like, and it's, everybody kind of has their version of that. Not everybody, but, like, each religion has their own offshoot of, well, this is the absolute truth because God said so. And it's like, okay, well, you have another 80% of the world that believes their truth, right? And this is the absolute truth. It's like, well, yeah. From thousands of years ago, these people just wrote this down, and they interpret, like, and they translated it, through 6 different languages, and all the, and you're 100% sure that this is the one written 400 years ago? That's the one? That seems, okay.
It's interesting, yeah.
Okay, but
yeah,
are we thinking fully about this? Like, are you sure you're not being had too? Maybe even if it is close, but
yeah, we'll never know. It's all just based on believing something without really fully knowing. What was, like, the faith of it, like, the faith aspect of it?
Yeah, faith and belief and knowing all mean different things, right?
I mean, and the whole, like, story of, like, Adam and Eve is crazy. It's like, okay, so just to, like, summarize really fast, it's like, okay, so they were with God and the animals, everything, and then the snake comes along, and it's like, hey, you want to be like God? You want to know everything?
A tree.
And then it's like, oh yeah, it's like, sure, yeah, I do want to know everything. Gets tempted, and then after that, they get cursed, and then humanity gets cursed after that. Technically, I think, and this is like what we're doing now. Because before, it seemed like before they sinned, or before they ate the apple or fruit, whatever it was, it seemed like everything was just fine. Everyone lived in harmony with all the animals and everything.
But the story, we don't know anything about the story
before that. Yeah, like how long were they like that before they found the fruit to eat? And was it like immediately after creation, or like?
Yeah, because that's what it seems like, right?
Yeah, it feels like they got created. There was like a couple days they.
Yeah, and also it's like we took 7 days to create this whole thing, and only 2 days to fuck it up.
Yeah,
guys, come on, what are we doing?
Well, and not to be like
I don't know,
offensive, but like her curiosity, because she was curious, just like fucked us all over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like there's a lot more to that story.
So she
that
just
we're not
like
getting.
was tired of being like ignorant and kept in the dark, and so like
there's so
yeah.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
That she just like wanted to know some things. That's all.
She's like, oh, I'm curious.
Yeah.
And then now
she rebelled.
Now we're just fucked after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting story.
Yeah, and sometimes like so at my brain goes, okay, if I were like a movie writer, well, what if that story really means that at one point Eve was doing some weird like genetic things with a species of race, like a species on some other planet somewhere, and they're like, all right, now you done fucked up. Like you're messing with these monkeys. So so Eve's an alien, okay? So Eve's an alien.
I like
They find a planet that can
create life or
can hold life.
hold life. Yeah.
So an alien species finds Earth before humans were ever here, right? They go, here's animals down here. Let's do some genetic testing. Like, we're gonna juice these hominoids up. We're gonna these bipedal things float. Like, there's some creatures down here that I think we could take their genes, and we could have some genetic fun with these creatures on this planet.
I'm sorry I asked.
Yeah,
that's great though. Yeah, some good imagination.
We do that shit.
Yeah, it's true.
We clone sheep and shit now.
Mm-hmm.
So you think we find you don't think there at any point in time, if we become space traveling species,
mm-hmm.
and we find a planet that we can get to, we figure out the whole space time thing and the whole speed of light thing, where we can jump from one point to another or whatever it is, and we find planets that can sustain life, and there's like these little microbial things out there, and we go, oh, we got a fish we could drop in that ocean, and we could just see what happens.
Yeah,
we could drop some spiders out there. We'll see what happens. Like, that would be fucking with the genetic. It's just the same thing as when you look at like Japanese beetles.
Yeah,
here in the States.
Yeah, they're here.
Some of the mosquitoes, things they do it, like the genetic manipulating to do with mosquitoes, other bugs and stuff we try to introduce into areas to like solve other problems. We do that right now. Yeah. We're introducing creatures into an environment that have never been there.
Yeah, and since you mentioned that, just popped in my head out of nowhere. It's like Japanese beetles are so destructive, so they mess with your crops here a little bit.
Yeah.
And
ate all my goddamn apples. See, full circle.
And in Japan, okay, I assume, I don't know what the weather is like in Japan, but I don't think it gets this hot. So they had to adapt, the Japanese beetles over time, which is cool. So maybe what you were saying about the spiders, all the other things, they adapt eventually, Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if you take the trajectory we're on with all the technology that we have and our capabilities we have right now, what do you think some of these assholes would be doing in another 500 years, 1,000 years, if we didn't destroy ourselves, if we didn't stop fucking blowing ourselves up all the time, or if we don't nuke our planet?
Yeah.
What's some asshole going to do that can mess with genetics and create and basically grow things out of it? We're already trying to grow meat in a petri dish. Yeah, it's super weird.
So weird.
But like we're doing like, so think of all these things that we do. Is it really that far-fetched that in 1,000 years somebody could be like, I'm gonna take this spaceship, I'm gonna go to this planet, and I'm gonna drop off maybe like a giraffe and maybe a couple of these other animals, and a couple cats, because this should be fun.
Why not? Right.
Who knows?
Yeah,
you get in your ark, you take a male and female of a handful of animals, you put them on the spaceship, and you go, let's go party. Right?
Yeah.
And how's the story go? It took us 7 days to get here, and we started replenishing the earth. There's the Noah's Ark. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways it could be interpreted, right? Who knows? Yeah. But it's fun. So don't get locked in, right?
Yeah. I mean, go anyway, just because a bunch of people say this is it, this is how we interpret it, go different ways. I know some of them sound a little more far-fetched than others, but
yeah, but why?
Yeah,
what makes it far-fetched?
I guess, yeah, you're right. It makes it far-fetched because some people believe it in a bigger mass than others, so it makes you feel like you're not right.
Just because more people believe it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's true, but he makes it that way.
If it's
so it's
comfort
perception.
Numbers.
Yeah, again, it all goes back to perception and what people think. That's weird. Yeah,
that's weird.
It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, because what you're saying could be true. I mean, yeah, or it could be done. eventually. Cassie doesn't think so. That's all right.
How did we get here then, Casshole?
The serpent was probably actually a fuck boy, and that's actually what tempted Eve.
That's good.
Yeah.
But they didn't have that term back then, so he
Yeah.
was just a snake.
It's the devil.
That's
Snake.
what happened, probably.
Oh my God.
Damn fuck boys.
So that's probably what happened.
That sounds about right. I like
That probably sounds about right.
That's an interesting. I've never thought about it that way. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
He shamed her, and that's when she
Yeah.
realized she was naked.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
brought
I will
it
say
all on.
all the stories do make Satan kind of seem like a fuck boy.
Yeah.
He kind of he seems like he should be the loser in the whole situation because he's. I can't quite figure out his motivation sometimes.
Yeah.
But God sometimes also. Apologies.
Yeah.
God
No,
also seems like a fuckboy sometimes too.
Well, the motivations, I guess. Yeah. It's like, why do they? All these people got to suffer like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know. Hey, Isaac, kill your son.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah. It's a
Why
lot.
should I
There's
do that,
a lot
God?
of that.
Because I fucking said so.
Yeah.
What? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And then right before he does it, I'm just fucking with you, bro.
It's like, I can't believe you were really going to do that.
You don't have to kill him. Like, Jesus.
It's like, I can't believe you're really
You were
going to do that.
that?
Yeah.
I don't know. He puts his chosen people out in the desert for 40 years because they.
Yeah, and they roamed around everywhere. And
Yeah, but he also fed them at the same time. The whole manna shit. How is he just like you're
that's
just
a little bit? It's like torture there.
I don't know, like,
40 years.
I don't know. It just seems there's a lot of things that I have. There's a lot of questions I have, and I guess maybe I'm tainted because I'm very tainted. Because the reason I've read the Bible multiple times because I grew up like in my teens. I grew up with it in it, and I never had it before that. So I was like immersed in this like weird like really hardcore Bible believing church. Like they wouldn't even call themselves Baptist because they were like it was just Bible.
Very scripture.
Yeah.
based.
Yeah, and it was like this is the words. So like every word God is it's like there's some weird words in here.
Yeah.
What are you and it was just like, oh, we don't have an excuse for that. It was like this. So it just I always had questions. Like why in the Old Testament am I it's a sin if I shave my face. Like it talks about cutting your beard. Cutting your beard is a sin. And I'm assuming that's kind of the same thread somehow, some way in our ancient history, like where a lot of there's a lot of religions out there that grow very big beards, right? Because it's because there's like these threads of like cutting your hair or, not covering your head, covering your hair. That's what some of those like hijabs and stuff are like to cover your hair, like and cover your like. So like where are these things?
Where does this come from?
Where does this all come from and why?
Was there a purpose? Like, what was it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was our Samson. You cut his hair.
Yeah,
He's a pussy now.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah, he went from being real strong.
Yeah, he was a badass.
Yeah.
And he got a haircut. Fucked it all up.
Yeah, so,
yeah.
Oh man.
We had a guy. I mean, I worked with this guy one time. He was an older gentleman. He was an older gentleman. Not super old, but he did like this almost complete like white hair. But he was like too young to have like white hair. He was probably like younger 40s, I would say. But his white hair made him look like 60s.
Yeah.
But but it was like nice. Like it was nice. It was just whatever.
Yeah.
So he had this like ponytail, and we like worked outside, dirty, like dangerous to have long hair, and like we used to make fun of him because like somebody had made that joke of like somebody getting a haircut. He's like, oh, I worked with this one guy. That's what he made the joke. He's like, I worked with this one guy and he had long hair like mine. And then they fucking he cut his hair. And then his name from then on out was Haircut. And he's like, so I've never cut my hair. Cause like it got long and he's like, I just didn't want him to call me Haircut.
Like, man.
like 6 months later, he cut it.
Mm,
You know what we called him?
haircut.
Yeah. He's like, I couldn't deal with it
man.
anymore. He's like, but I knew you guys were going to do this to me.
Oh man. He still got it eventually. Got called haircut. Oh man. Yeah.
The brutality of people.
Yeah. People. Evil. Not all, of course.
No.
But yeah.
I feel like it has to exist, though.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't. We would take good.
Well, it would be like
take
what,
advantage of good, right?
utopia
the bad.
type thing. Yeah.
Do you think that's real?
What?
Utopia, like a heaven?
I don't know. That's weird, right? That's another. Yeah. I think because we're so used to seeing bad that it's like seems like that's very far fetched. But
Sorry,
I
I didn't
mean-
mean to like come. I mean, you come and hang out today, Juan.
Yeah.
And then we're just like pontificating the.
we're
meanings
talking
of
about some
life
really
and-
deep stuff. No, I like talking about stuff like this. It's great. Not a lot of people talk like this, so I think like not calling us intellectuals, but you know.
Oh God! Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
But yeah, I'm sure this is how some intellectual people talk. They sit there and brainstorm and try to get some meaning out of things. Something like that. I don't know.
Well, did I convince you that rucking's your new hobby, Juan? Today, is that what happened this morning? You seemed like you enjoyed yourself more
it was
than
great.
you expected.
It was pouring.
It was pouring.
I liked it. I did. It wasn't. I thought it was gonna be. I think if it was hotter, it would have been definitely very challenging. But I think because I was like excited about it, the rain was pouring. It was just kind of like I was engaged and didn't really feel too bad. I'm sure there are harder, like hikes and longer distances that would
can
make it
always
a
go
lot
longer,
harder.
right?
But I liked it. It was cool. It was fun, and nature was looking pretty good this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting with the rain because it was just straight
Yeah.
pouring. And we're like, well, the wind's not kicking up, like trees aren't blowing around,
Yeah.
so it'll be
Yeah.
all right. It was a good experience. You don't have too many of those where it's like
Yeah,
pouring down rain like that. And you're like, well, hell, here we are. It is
but
what it
it
is.
has a purpose. The whole rucking thing. I feel like if shit hits the fan one day, or you need to be walking around with a bunch of weight on you.
I mean, I think it's a really good purpose just in general for like just go out and walk.
Yeah,
Right. Like particularly like
and make it
not
more-
on the road too.
Mhm.
I mean, the roads. I mean, it's great. You go out and walk on the road. That's great too. But there's a lot of benefits you don't realize that you can get from going out to a place with hills and
Yeah.
Trails. Not only are you getting, the whole nature aspect like you're talking about, fresh air. Sure, there's some bugs out there, but that's like kind
Yeah,
of
Part of-
Earth,
Mhm.
bro. There's like, well, how many millions and billions of species of different things out there?
Mhm.
Like, come on. But like all the articulation that your body does, your ankles, your knees, that you're just not used to, that side to side and climbing things,
Yeah.
and like your hip flexors and like making sure you don't slip and slide.
Mhm.
Like that's probably a good thing, if nothing else, just to like for aging.
yeah. Oh,
Because was it like how
absolutely.
many people one of the biggest reasons that like it seems like old people degrade is because they end up hurting themselves
Mm-hmm.
and then they're sedentary. And man, it's definitely one thing I've seen is, the moment you stop moving is the moment you start dying.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and then you got to move and exercise.
Yeah. So if you can't
A
walk
little
up a
bit.
set of stairs,
Yeah.
or if you're going to break a hip when you fall, that's it. Like a lot of times
Yeah.
that's like game over. Like,
I mean-
not right now, but you break a hip at 85
Yeah, you're
because you're
done.
just frail.
You're done. Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
It's a matter of time. But like then you have some of these like people that are like, I saw this video of this lady the other day. She was like 97 or something like that, like doing deadlifts.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was like,
insane.
okay, yeah,
That's
like
insane.
that's cool.
Like you don't. Yeah, very rare. Like yeah, there's like a study that says that people that have more muscle mass live longer than people that don't, and that makes sense
Makes
because
sense. You balance a little better.
yeah,
Right?
true.
If nothing
A
else,
little more cushion when if
yeah,
you
well,
fall.
you're gonna have more control over your
Yeah.
body. Like so, muscle. That's probably a good thing to have
Mm-hmm.
in general. So
Well,
like, go out and walk, take a hike, and go out in the fucking woods, take a hike.
yeah. It's just weird how people let their bodies deteriorate like that and just kind of like, fuck it. Like, I'm just getting older. Like, yeah, you're getting older, but it doesn't have to. Just it doesn't have to go to shit that fast, you know?
Yeah, that fast.
Yeah, I mean, like there's shit you can do to prevent it. Like you were saying, walking. Hey, get you a few dumbbells, and at home you don't even have to go to the gym if you don't want to go to the gym.
Yeah, some people just find a fucking hobby.
Yeah, yeah, or
That makes
go
you
play
move.
pickleball. I mean, there's 60-year-old people that play pickleball, and
Yeah,
they're great. They move pretty good and keeps
Don't-
them alive. It just keeps you alive.
you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
Just get a push mower.
Or yeah.
That's what my dad does.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
he
mean,
he push mows, even though he has a riding mower because that's his
that's
exercise.
his little exercise.
So he pushes.
Yeah, I mean,
his
he does a
yard.
lot of other stuff too.
He pushes my grandparents. He push mows my grandparents. They also have a riding mower, and then we have property in Noble County, like 2 hours away, and he mows that. And he does the riding mower that more
well, it's
often.
just at that point, it's just silly.
So he push mows the yard 3 days a week, basically, just because he likes getting his steps in.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you see some of these older folks, and then like you get the sense of like, oh, poor, I get it. Sometimes you're like, okay, this person really has some kind of condition or whatever, and you have empathy for them. You're like, dang, that sucks. There's
100%.
Person has like they're walking like their back hurts or whatever, but there's people that just completely have just neglected their body to the point that since they're not moving, they're all stiff and
and it's hard to feel bad.
And they like crap, so they're all this inflammation, all these other health problems, and it's like the perspective is like, oh well, I'm already screwed. Like, why even try? Type of thing, you know. And it's like, well, you have one body, one life. Like, there's ways to try to figure out how to do the best you can to, I see people in their 60s and, well, anywhere from 60s and up, and I'm like, you see some that are really fit, and it's like makes you feel kind of like, holy cow,
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. Like, you've actually taken care of your body.
Yeah.
You're fit, you're strong. It's like, shit, like,
To that point, we went on a vacation last year for her birthday, and there was this couple. We were at the beach. We went to Mexico, and there was this couple. They were like in their 50s or 60s, somewhere, or maybe was it even maybe even 70s.
For sure, 70s.
Okay, so like maybe they, I don't know, I don't remember shit. But they were like,
you thought they were younger because they look so good.
They're poolside, just hanging out, dancing, like bebopping the entire
She's wearing
time.
her strapless little almost thong bikini. She was lean,
just having a great
How
time.
awesome is
and
that?
it's like, fuck, you're giving me a lot of hope right now.
Yeah.
They always had a drink in their hand, never excessively. Like,
no,
there were
but
some
they
people
having
who
a good
were
time.
definitely drinking like a lot.
Oh yeah,
But they were just
they're just hanging out,
having
just
and they were
loving life.
like constantly moving. She was constantly dancing.
Yeah.
Just like poolside, just having a great time.
Nothing crazy, but just just having a fantastic
Yeah.
time in their own little, not
Yeah.
even in their own little world. They were conversing, but like it was just like, oh, like
Yeah.
that's exciting.
They were old.
They were also
looked good.
not American.
Oh.
Yeah, they were not.
So,
They weren't.
I don't take that for what it's worth.
They weren't.
But
I remember
wasn't
I asked her
surprised.
how old she was, and I think he ended up telling me, but
I feel like he was a lot
she
younger
was like,
than her.
don't ask.
Don't ask.
Yeah, so she was.
Yeah, it's
I
always
forgot
such a
about that.
weird
Yeah.
question for some people.
She looked good.
Yeah, but sorry.
Yeah. No, I think it's
you see the,
Yeah.
it's encouraging.
Yeah. You see people and you're like, man, it's rewarding to see people take care of their bodies rather than just being like, oh, I'm old now and I feel like shit. It's like, well, you don't have to feel like that. I'm sure.
Especially when you have kids.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
So you can
expect
be around
your
for 'em.
kid to
Yeah.
to be healthy if you're not giving them any example to go
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
Like, it's really
Oh man, I can really go into that about parents not.
Yeah.
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 And like,
Well, your mom was always very. I don't really remember that with my parents. My dad had a very active job, so he was constantly
moving.
outside moving. I remember when I was really little, my mom like played softball and stuff, but she's never been like a gym goer. She's active, and my mom is very healthy. She's a very healthy size,
Mm.
but she doesn't like. She's never been like a gym goer. She's never like. She doesn't go on morning walks. Now that they have a dog, they definitely go
Well,
out a lot
yeah.
more, which is
Yeah.
good because
She doesn't seek physical exercise specifically.
yeah, but it's always kind of just been like a thing, like get outside, get exercise without them like telling us that.
Mhm.
But your mom was very active growing
Yeah,
up.
I think it was more so sports. It was like
Yeah.
we were like not even like, and it's not even when I think of like because I never thought of like my childhood as like a sports centric childhood, because it doesn't have like the typical like you think of like the family going to soccer, loading
Mhm.
all in the minivan type deal.
Mm.
But I always enjoyed sports, so like I swam when I grew up swimming basically and
I didn't know
competitively
that.
swam.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I competitively swam, and then until I was like middle school age and started playing football, and then those overlapped, and I was like, well, I want to hit people, so I went football, and then I still swam in the summer until I got a little bit older, and like
Yeah.
I stopped swimming.
But your
and
mom
did
swam
track.
and biked.
Yeah, my mom would like it always like ran, did like I grew up I've done like bicycling events where it's like 45 miles on Friday night, 70 miles on Saturday and like 60 miles on Sunday. Like
Man. All right.
like do it like shows like she like was cycled and all that stuff.
Awesome.
So like I grew up doing that, and I guess I'd never like really put all those
Put
things
all that
together
together, yeah.
until like honestly until like just the other day.
Just-
We were watching the Olympics. She was watching the Olympics, and like she's like, "Oh, swimming's on." And I came down, and I was watching. I'm like, fuck, that's I used to do. Like I
Yeah.
get like I never like I haven't done this in a long time. Like I haven't like thought about it, but like I did that, and it was like, man, that seems like a lifetime ago. And it was just like, oh, okay. Like so I kind of grew like I was lucky enough, I guess. Like it was never like explicit about like eating healthy and like exercising, but we just did that, and it was like I was lucky in that sense. Like she's talking about growing up with an active family. But yeah, it's kind of terrifying. Now there's a lot of families that just aren't active at all.
Yeah.
Like there's no hobbies.
Yeah.
Like there's no.
And there should be. Yeah, my folks weren't very active people either. But I grew up, I guess they're, I'm in my 30s. I'm not going to say exact age, but I'm getting older, okay? Getting close to 40 here.
Bro, you're not getting any younger. Just embrace it.
So,
you look great.
Thank you. So growing up, I mean, we didn't have all these tablets and stuff. I mean, there's video game like what Nintendo or Super Nintendo,
I still
which
have
is
my
cool.
original Nintendo.
No way.
NES. Yeah.
Wow. That is nuts.
Mario 3.
I
only have one. I have no idea where my games went or anything.
But you got one.
Mario 3 was still inside of it.
Wow.
And I found it, and I was like, God, it was a couple years ago. I was like, you think this still works? Got it working. So we
It's working?
Yeah, it still works.
You just gotta blow on it.
Oh,
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
You want to play some Mario 3 tonight?
Yeah, we may have to.
I can hook it up. Yeah, it still works.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. And even back then, like having something so new, because obviously video games were pretty new back then.
Yeah.
I always found my way of like being outside too, though. Like I played, but it wasn't like an extensive amount. Like
because there's so much fun shit to do outside. There's shit to fuck up.
Everyone wanted to be outside. Go climb this or go ride the bike here, and then
I don't know how many times I got in trouble and fucked up my bike.
Yeah. I used to be a little hoodlum, just running around everywhere. all day till like, just all day running around
Yeah.
doing something. And now I don't know. Well, I don't have kids, so I don't know, but it feels like kids may not do that as much as we did
Definitely
growing up.
Definitely don't do that.
I
As
think they're
much, for
more
sure.
like, tablets and
Well, it's hard because it
phones
takes your
and-
attention.
and it and I get it. I mean, we use those devices too, but I think starting young like that, it sets you up to be a little bit more active, you know. And you play sports, and then you don't have to go to the gym to be active.
Yeah.
You can go join a racquetball league. I don't know,
Yeah.
pickleball, run club, yoga, Pilates, all that stuff. That's hard stuff to do. Those are
Yeah.
cool things to learn. Um, but yeah, there's just a lack of that, and then everyone wonders why they're having all these problems, and why they can't lose the weight and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you're not doing anything to help yourself.
Yeah. Well,
And I see
they
that.
don't know. I think a lot of it.
Well,
they
I
just
think a
don't
lot of
know
people
any-
don't know.
because
Yeah.
for decades we were taught, here it's this,
Well, the
it's this
food, yeah,
shake, it's this
yeah.
pill, it's this. Hey,
Yeah.
make sure you're getting 8 servings of grains a day,
Oh, so
like a
bad.
fucking cow.
Yeah.
Like literally, like there's people out there that go like, I don't even like my cows to eat that much grain.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what we're gonna eat. Like, so we were lied to for decades about what's good and what the servings of food you should have. It was here, eat the cereal. Like cereal's a great breakfast.
Mm.
Right? It's fucking
Yeah, it's not
sugar
good. It's just sugar and
and
milk.
processed carbohydrates.
Yeah. Terrible.
What?
You're like starving like 2 hours later. Why?
Yeah,
Why
it's
is
a
that?
fucking sugar rush. Especially
Why am I so
and
hungry?
feed your kid fucking Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
Food dyes and like can we
Yeah.
honestly, like, do we think that's a good idea? Does that make sense
No.
in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah.
Like, no. So like,
And it's typically the busiest aisle when I go to the store is like freaking people are at because like cereals and then chips, it's all like
I do love some
all
chips.
the pleasure food is like in those two aisles. So everyone's typically roaming around there.
It is. It's just like a drug. We went on a little camping vacation earlier this summer. Went whitewater rafting, which was really
yeah.
cool. First time we
in,
did that.
in West Virginia. Is
Yeah,
that?
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It was like Ohio Pile area. So it wasn't anything super crazy, but it was we did the 2s and 3s. We didn't do the 4s and 5s, but it was really neat. Definitely.
You liked it, Cassie?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
Yeah, she tried to convince me to go down to the gully in West Virginia
The hard
when
one,
they
right?
open it up through those
yeah.
like 3 weeks or whatever it
Oh
is.
no.
He's like, oh no.
No, I did
Fred would
whitewater
not.
rafting. That stuff is crazy. I mean that when the waters are really rapid like that, and you're just like, yeah,
Yeah, I don't
Man,
know.
I
I think
don't
I would
know.
enjoy doing it because I'm really comfortable around the water. It's
Mhm.
as we discussed. But I was like, I don't.
I'm not even a great swimmer.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Like,
My
if I
life-
fall out of here, I'm
My
see
life
ya.
jacket fit great.
You
Like,
don't have to
it'll keep me
necessarily be a
out.
great swimmer to as long as
Yeah.
you know how to like fall right. But it's still, she was like, it'll be fine. Like he's an EMT and a guy and this. I said, that's great unless you're trapped under a fucking rock.
Yeah, that's not those will not work.
Yeah, and I was like, and this is like what we're talking about going and doing it's literally in the top 10 in the world of like whitewater
That's cool.
area, like things to do because it's like they released the dam for like 3 weeks and the water
Yeah, the
level
water's
shoot
just
way up and
insane.
it's
Mm.
crazy. And people come from around the world during these 2 weeks.
Really?
to
Around
West
the
Virginia,
world?
around the world
What?
to do this. And I'm like, I don't
All right,
know.
I guess you should have gone. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, we could, yeah, but it happens every year. So like, and it's only that down the road. I'm like, I
Okay.
don't feel like that's probably too much of a step for us. Like we should probably make
Maybe
some,
just little by little.
yeah,
and get
like
there.
let's,
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
totally down with going there, but that's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did in Chattanooga, and it was real fun. I had the time of my life. You have a good guide, it's
Yeah.
awesome. He just makes the experience so much better. And
Did you
Yeah.
have guide in boat?
in the boat,
Okay.
yeah, which
Okay.
is kind of cool.
We
we
didn't
were
have
out,
guide
yeah.
in boat, but
we had
Okay.
6 of us that were
Oh.
we had like a bunch of guys.
So it was
around
just you
us.
two and yeah, or no, 6 of you
There were 5 adults and then Kyrie. And then
Yeah.
there were 2
Yes, we took our
boats
12-year-old.
total.
Oh gosh.
And
She
then
probably had a
2
blast too.
guides in kayaks. So like there were guides with us, but they were in kayaks.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool because it was only 2 groups. It was us and then another boat. And
They
then
were not great.
They were not great. Like they got at one point like pinned up against like a rock, and they had to like drag them up over like this. It was not going well. So like it's like one of those things. Like we did really well.
Yeah.
Like, it went really
it went as smooth as it
was.
could've gone.
It's literally as smooth as it could have for a bunch of people sitting in a boat that have never rowed together. That
We
can
didn't
be
have
tough.
anybody go over.
It's good.
Yeah,
They
none of
had
us fell out.
Everybody go over. I feel like at least one.
Yeah, and
Probably
it's
one.
Oh,
and
that's
it's if you
funny.
hit the right path,
Yeah.
you know, you can. They say, hey, if you hit this path, boom, 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 you're good to go, and the raft just kind of goes along. But if you
Yeah.
don't hit the right path, things can get really haywire,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a tricky thing because like we did it like really well the first time. So then it's like you have this like little bit of extra bravado. And
Yeah.
like, oh, we know how to do
We know how to
this.
do this.
That
yeah.
was the hard thing. Like
Because
with-
things went so well.
yeah, with the kid, where she was like now she thinks she can go whitewater rafting like anywhere. And it's like, let's slow your roll. I was literally sitting behind you the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, basically rowing for you at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
let's slow
Yeah, she
our
didn't
roll.
row.
Yeah, let's slow our roll here a bit.
Yeah.
She didn't do great.
Let's not get too
Yeah,
confident.
one of my buddies fell off the raft a couple of times. Yeah, I don't know. He just
I can see
he
how
wasn't
it-
even expecting it. He's just like,
I could
whoa.
totally see how it could
Like,
happen.
oh, get over here.
Especially in some of those areas where it's like, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's a good experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, so stuff like that. People should just do more stuff like
Go
that.
do something.
Why not?
There's
You know?
there's a life to live out there.
Yeah, a lot to do instead of just staying home. You know.
Whoa.
You can stay home. Yeah.
You can stay home after.
You can still stay home too. Like there's things to do
Yeah,
at home.
I'm not saying you can't
like
stay
a
home,
hobby.
but
Like
go.
build a
yeah.
fucking table. Grow a garden.
Whoa.
Watch some birds.
Why
know,
not? Yeah.
grow
Find
some-
something you like.
Yeah, grow
Yeah,
some flowers.
There's no way to.
Like,
Yeah. I
Read
don't
a
know.
book.
read a book.
Read a book.
Like, there's a lot of cool stuff out there.
Create a podcast.
Create a podcast. my neighbor, everyone
not?
every so often in the spring and fall we get to watch him. He has like it's like a backpack fan, like this big like hydro boat fans basically strapped to his back,
Mhm.
and then a parachute. So he goes like it's motorized paragliding, and
Oh,
he'll
what?
he'll go right out here in the field, right in front of our house. I'll hear it kick up every once in a while. We haven't heard it in a while, but like I'll hear it. I'm like, oh, here
There
we
he
go.
goes.
Let's go watch it. And he'll like fly around the field. I think I
What?
have a video or two on.
We just saw him though.
No.
We were driving a
That's
couple
maybe.
miles from the house. Remember,
Yeah.
you said, "Oh, I think that's the neighbor." Because
Yeah.
who?
I wonder if
else?
that's on the Chronic Curiosity. If it's on the Chronic Curiosity
That's-
page, it's probably way down there.
that's
or my own
interesting.
page on Instagram. But yeah, like so it's like that's cool. Like get your pilot's license. That's really neat. Like that's a fun thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone has something that they end up liking. They just choose not to do it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I don't
I think you
know.
brought up camping because you were going to talk about all the junk that you
Oh,
ate
yeah.
and how shitty you felt afterwards.
That's
I'm
right. I
pretty sure.
totally got off track
where
there.
you're
I was
going.
wondering where I was going with that. And I was
Camping?
like, I forgot. Junk food. Yeah, so let me tell you this. So we went camping, we went rafting, and I ate a shit ton of junk food. Like just chips and just
Yeah.
well, I mean, we cooked good stuff too. We cooked eggs and potatoes and stuff while we were down there. I got a big old iron skillet, doing the thing like on the fire, really doing it to it.
Mhm.
But just junk food, like a lot of junk food. And then like we went to Lake Erie for a few days and just hung out as a family, quiet, and ate a lot of junk food. Drank quite a few beers, just hanging out, being on vacation.
Mhm.
And then like for like 4 days after that, I was like, man, I feel like dog shit. And then every once in a while, like we'd still have a little bag of like the rest of like the Doritos from vacation. So I was like, I would throw a handful of Doritos in my face and I'd be like, oh, those are really good.
Mhm.
And then I'd feel good for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'd feel like dog shit again. I was like, holy shit, like this is what they're taught. Like these foods they're doing something to you. and they're created to do that to
Mhm.
you. Like you hear like the manufacturers, I don't remember who it was. But it's a pretty known, you could find it. I don't remember if it was Doritos, but it was some known like junk food that they were like, look, like we're designing these so that's like an addiction.
Yeah.
You want a burst of flavor, real crisp, like this powerful flavor that's just it's so good, and then a little nice aftertaste, and then nothing. You have the flavor has to die because that makes you go,
More.
I need more.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard like different things where they have like there's like they create the like with like fibers almost, like they create them in a way where like they shatter, so like they
Yeah. It's
like,
all scientifically done. Yeah.
they like make
Yeah.
they're abrasive to your mouth, so it really gets that all the flavor and everything
Yeah.
in. So it's like, oh
No, but
like,
there is a science behind that where they have people like design it from like the way it crunches or it's crispy in your mouth and the way it tastes and the way I mean all the things that you're releasing when you bite into it and you're feeling good and like, oh my god, this is delicious,
yeah.
to like what you said, nothing, right? And then you want more. So yeah, I mean, if you
gotta
ever
have more.
buy one of those
Once you
big
pop,
bags
you
of
can't stop.
yeah, you can't stop. You know? So it's like, what the hell?
It's
I've-
dopamine, just like
Yeah.
the
Because that's what they do. They make you trigger that, and you want more. So
Yeah.
I've done several times happen where I'll put like a little handful of chips in a Ziploc. I gotta go back and get more because you eat it and you're like, oh, this is enough. I'm trying to like be
That
good,
portion control,
or like put
that's
it in a small
hard.
little plate. I'm like, this is the serving I'm gonna eat, And one serving's like what, I don't know. Let's just say
Small.
4 to 8 chips or something, right? And it's like 150 calories or whatever.
Yeah.
You eat the whole bag. You just ate like maybe 1,000 calories
Yeah.
of chips, with a bunch of. It says there's no sugar on it, but all the starches
yeah,
that are in there
Yeah, there's
turn into sugar.
Yeah. all those
So
carbs.
people don't understand like when you're
There's-
eating all this
there's carbs.
chips,
no
you're
sugar.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You get realizing what you're eating
Mm.
is the hard
and
part.
and what you say, how it made you feel too. It
Yes,
made you crave it too.
It was
It
wild,
made you
but that's
want
what
it.
it hit me. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm having fucking junk food withdrawal. That's what's happening because I don't like.
Because you don't eat it all the time.
I'll eat
yeah.
a snack
Yeah.
quite often. Like I'll have chocolate, like
Yeah.
M&Ms. I'll have pretzels and chips, and I
Yeah.
don't eat like candy. I don't eat candy bars or like donuts or like a lot of processed sugars. I don't do that a lot, except for like I'll have M&Ms and just a little bit.
Right.
But I do that frequently. But that much junk food and then all at one time, and then I didn't realize what was going on. I was like, oh, I'm having fucking withdrawals. I was like,
Yeah.
that's fucking. And when I would eat Doritos, it'd be like I'd get my fix for like 3 minutes. It was like, oh, I just had a Dorito high.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, that's wild.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you eat like whole ingredients, right? Let's just say just a meal, just a protein, a carb, and veggies. You're not really like craving it after you eat it. Like it's good. It nourishes you. But this
Yeah,
other
you're
food,
like, all right,
and
I
you're
guess-
like, yeah, I'm full.
I got stuff
I'm
to do
good.
now.
But this other stuff is like, it's like more.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like crack, man.
It's
Oh, I
like-
guess I don't know
yeah.
what crack's like.
Well,
But it's like
me neither,
cocaine
but
or something.
I would
It's
assume,
like some
yeah.
kind of drug.
he says, I don't know what crack's like. It's like cocaine.
I mean, or I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. I figure you were taking a
Huh.
guess there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway,
You
I
get
pulled
it.
up this
Oh, look.
our neighbor up here.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
that was just
gosh.
like right out front. He was just out there cruising around.
How fun is that? Oh my
Yeah.
god. Like,
How cool
that
is
is
that?
cool. Yeah, you guys are like, oh, there he is.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Super cool.
What a cool thing to do. Yeah. How old is he? In his 30s, probably? What do you think?
Yeah, they're probably late 30s. They're probably about the same. Yeah.
Oh, they're
Oh yeah. And
It's
I don't
a-
know if
it's a
that was his
couple or-
wife.
oh.
Yeah. There's
Oh.
I don't think they have any kids. They raise dogs and stuff like that. But yeah, I
That's
don't know.
really
if it was
cool.
both of them. But yeah, it's super, super cool. They just like take off running.
How fun is that? You
Yeah.
know?
I would do that.
I would too if I knew how to.
If I knew, yeah, obviously, like,
Figure
you
that
gotta teach
out.
me how to do it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I was like, this is super cool.
It's like,
He'll wave at you if you see him.
Yeah.
I'll wave at them too.
Yeah.
That's
You
cool.
can't not wave at somebody
But,
flying over your
yeah,
house.
just randomly flying over your house.
Yeah, just hanging out with a parachute flying around. Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great experience.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty cool. It is neat too, though, because we have the airport that's close by.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of neat because every once in a while we'll get like the military helicopters flying over, stopping through, and we have airplanes all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's constant. It's pretty, but they're not like too loud. We're in their north pattern, so like when they're like circling to make a landing, they'll stop by, or if like they're doing like touch and goes or whatever, we're in like their north pattern, so it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
But every once in a while, like a Chinook or something will fly like real low over those twin blade giant helicopters.
Yeah, that's loud.
Yeah, real loud. But it's neat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Could be worse, right? You have like a train going right behind your house
that
right
would
now.
be terrible. Like what you buy, you get like an apartment or like a house, and you don't like. There's like trees right there, and you don't realize there's a fucking train
Yeah.
track
The
right
sound
behind
has
it.
never been like an issue. It's cooler than anything. I don't think we've ever been like, damn,
This is
the
annoying.
airport is
Yeah.
annoying.
Well, it's
No,
a small
I
airport too.
love it.
It's not a big airport.
It's not like they're flying out every.
There's very few jets. Like it's small enough that like a small jet can land on it, but not a big jet. So we get like life flight is by the like helicopters coming in and out like that, and then small just little Cessnas and things like that flying around. So it's kind of cool. But every once in a while, like we'll hear like I said, like military helicopters or an occasional small jet, but nothing great. So it makes it like it's kind of quaint, you know. But it's fun.
Yeah. Flying.
Have you ever flown in like have you ever been in a helicopter?
Never been.
You've obviously been commercial flying.
Been commercials,
been, like,
and I've been in
like,
a small planes before too. They're a lot different. It feels way different than being in a commercial. It feels a little bit less safe, I guess. I don't know. It just feels like you're like a lot more vulnerable than this ginormous. I don't know. That's just what I think.
I can see that.
Yeah, you know, because the big old planes, you're like all these people in there, and I don't know. It just seems a little different than just flying like 3 people on a plane. You know.
I have the reverse view.
3 or 4. You have the reverse view, really?
Yeah.
You feel safer in the small plane?
I do.
Interesting.
I also flew in a small plane first. Like I'd gone up in a small plane quite a few times before I'd ever flown commercially. Actually, I'd flown in a small plane and helicopters a lot before I'd ever flown commercially.
You think it's because you're actually seeing the pilot flying in?
Maybe. And I understand like the
versus,
capabilities.
Not like, oh, we don't know who the pilot is.
Well, that too, like
there somewhere.
If you lose, I guess it all depends too. But like if you lost, like I guess you're not going to lose a wing on a big jet. But like you lose a wing on a big jet, like you're toast. But like an engine, I guess it can come down. I mean, I guess the maybe I'm trusting the capability of a landing without power to a smaller aircraft is going to be more likely than a giant jet with like a commercial jet. Like if you lost all your engines on a commercial jet,
that's not good.
That's not good. If you lose your engine on a Cessna, like a little one prop airplane, no big deal. You just glide down. It's going to be rough. It's definitely going to be rough.
My goodness.
But you can just glide down. Hell, even a helicopter, they can auto rotate in the right situation.
Really?
That's really neat. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to make sure our meat's at the right temp.
Oh.
You gotta keep got a brisket cooking.
Look at this. You got an app for it.
It's that easy.
That's cool.
It's that easy. They all like have that now.
That's really cool.
Well, it's a pellet. Yeah. It's a pellet smoker.
Yeah.
So like I'm not super traditional. But like the prices of them, they're kind of like TVs. Where like at first they were really expensive, and they're still expensive. But like that's where I cook. I mean, we talked about it before. I get local meat. 90% of our meat now is locally sourced.
Great.
So like it's like, hey, I'm getting half of a
Yeah.
steer carcass at a time,
Mhm.
or not a steer or whatever, half of a bovine carcass at a time. Or like I know somebody that raises pigs and
Yeah,
sends them to
some
the local
there.
butcher. So like so it's like that's what like we eat off of. But they're super convenient. You know, the technology is cool if it works. But if it doesn't, it's not that big of a deal. But it's really nice to just be able to like people are like, I don't have time to like cook food like that. It's like it's really not that hard. Especially if you have
Yeah.
if you have something like that, you push a button, it
Yeah.
turns on, you turn it to the temperature, and you stick a thermometer in it.
Yeah. You're living it technically unattended for a little
Yeah.
bit while you can go do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, it can sit in there for
Just set a
6
timer.
hours. And I
Yeah.
don't care.
Like you have to stand right in front of the smoker.
No, you
oven.
just every once in a while you check on it because it is going to take a while,
Mm.
but you just got to start it and you have
Yeah.
all this beautiful meat or whatever.
And it cooks it, and it cooks it a lot better. Yeah, the smoker.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
I can always count on her to be inappropriate.
that was funny.
I don't know what to say. Yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just like,
I
well,
have the maturity
we
of
can't
a
agree.
13-year-old boy.
Yeah,
welcome to the show.
I mean, you've met my twin brother at this point. Last
I
time you
have.
hadn't. So, like,
yeah.
that's what I grew up with. The fact that I am as mature as I am is pretty
yeah.
awesome.
Is he going to the gym? Did you see him in the gym?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He's a member now. It's great. He's been a member for a while.
Yeah. He was like, he reached out to me because we used to live together all the time. That was like through the last like decade. Like we were decade. I didn't
I'm doing that.
I'm tired of Australia. Last decade.
I'm gonna start calling it decade.
Decade.
It sounds cooler. Sounds longer than.
But
10
yeah,
years.
he reached out a while ago and he's like, hey, I'm gonna start at the warehouse. He's like, I'd like to get a lift in. I was like, yeah, man. I said, I don't really lift much like I used to. I said, but I go in there at like 6 a.m. I haven't heard from him. Because we always used to go in at like 6 p.m.
He's like 6 a.m.
Yeah, he's like, nah.
It's like red.
Well, he was like, hey, we're going to do.
Yeah, he left me on red.
He goes, Fred still does morning workouts,
Fred.
right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, cool. I think I'm going to see him in there this week. And it was like, oh, Thursday. And I was like, where are you at, bro? I thought we were going to see you for morning workouts. And he goes, I am going in the morning, like 9:30. I was like, oh, no, he's already showered and at work for
He's
2
at
hours
work.
by then.
Yeah, you guys are the early bird.
It's nice though.
I think it's nice. Yeah. It sets you up for the day too.
My
know.
workouts aren't as hard,
100%.
but I am seeing better results because I can be more consistent going in the morning.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, it really is. Like you hear that, and you're like, yeah.
Speaking of, I'm gonna
okay.
check this real
Right,
quick.
okay.
You guys
That's
can
fine.
continue
Yeah, we'll-
or
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's a lot. I'm a lot more consistent being able to go in the morning. It's like shit can't get in your way because you're starting your day with that.
Right.
So usually something doesn't come up at 5:30 in the
Yeah.
morning, so you can get to the gym and get your stuff done.
Yeah.
Showering though has been hard this summer just because I shower and I'm still sweaty
Yeah.
because it's humid. The last 2 weeks have been
Unreal.
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm taking a cold shower, but it is. It
feels
nice.
good. The cold showers feel
Yeah.
good when you're so excessively hot.
Mhm.
My gosh.
It's nice.
Yeah. The heat's been killing me.
yeah. You're not a fan of the heat?
I like it. Not for 8 hours, 10 hours a day.
Oh, I can see it without the It gets sticky
A little
sometimes.
sticky.
When it's sticky and when you walk in at 6:30 in the morning, I can't imagine the people working out at 4 or 5 o'clock. Like,
Yeah. When 4 or 5 rolls around, it's.
gross.
I'm like, why are you even going in the sauna? It's like, this is a literal sauna right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I drip as it is.
It didn't take much for me to start sweating.
No, I'm a fucking high performance machine. Well, yeah, of course. It doesn't take for much for us to start sweating.
Well, you probably are sweating all day putting people's weights away.
Yes.
Fucking
Free-racking
assholes.
weights.
Can we talk about that?
Sure, yeah.
Can we?
I posted something the other day about it. Well, it was like I don't know if you guys saw. It was like a guy I'll have to pull up the video at some point, but yeah, he's just like sitting there having this like very inspirational talk about like, oh, we're all been through there. We're consistent at the gym, but can we just please fucking re-rack our weights? It's like, it's not that hard, and it's just good etiquette.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of consideration. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I just don't, there's a couple things that it doesn't matter. Any gym, I guess it's more of a reflection on human beings in general.
Well, yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
But
Yeah.
like I've seen like probably the top 3 things, like people not re-racking their weights. Like, did your mom not teach you to like put your shit back when you get it out, especially in a public place?
It's not even your shit. It's somebody else's
It's somebody
shit.
you're borrowing. You're
You're
renting
paying
this shit.
for a service, and you should treat the service that you're being provided with like some kind of respect. I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, because do you want like would you want to like have to unrack somebody else's
Yeah.
weights?
Yeah, and it's not
No.
fair for some people. I mean, when I have someone coming up to me and saying, "Hey, you help me unload this," like,
Yeah.
I don't even put this kind of weight on when I'm trying to use this machine. It's just inconsiderate for other people. So it's lazy, inconsiderate, and it's like just treat it like it would be your own gym. But then it's like, well, apparently you
Yeah,
don't treat things
no.
well.
So
Like
don't.
you just don't treat. Yeah. So it's like, what in
Treat
the
it
world?
better.
Yeah. It's like,
I've had that conversation with employees before. I used to work when I did like vegetation work. We talked about this before, like cutting trees, and I had guys that would work on other people's properties. And it was like I literally had that exactly what you just said. Treat it like you would your.
and then
No.
no.
I've seen the
Yeah,
inside
I
of your
see what you
guys'
do.
fucking
Yeah,
trucks.
yeah.
I can only imagine the fucking shithole that your house
Mhm.
is because you're a bunch of goddamn slobs. So you know what? Treat it better than it's your own because this is other people's shit. So like,
Yeah.
fucking have some respect for other people. But the weights, I get some
Yeah.
people who just don't fucking do it. They've never been taught to like
Yeah.
that they should have to like do anything.
Like
for
wipe
themselves.
off your equipment if
That's-
you're sweating.
That's the next
If
one.
you're just so
That's
sweaty,
the next one.
Dude, I sweat like crazy. I wipe off my equipment. 'cause
Why
it's
would
just
you want
gross.
to roll in somebody else's sweat?
It's gross.
I
Yeah.
I wipe it off before and after.
Yeah, yeah. That way you
Because
know
what?
that
I don't want to
yeah.
because I've seen these motherfuckers that go to the gym that don't fucking wipe off their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to roll around in someone else's sweat? You know why you got ringworm? You
Yeah.
dirty bastard.
Dude, there's a bunch of shit like
You remember when I worked in urgent care and 3 people came in from the
Really?
other gym we used to go to,
yeah,
and they all got diagnosed with the same fucking skin rash.
because people
2
weren't
of them were a
wiping their shit
couple,
down.
and
See?
one of them had came in first, and I thought, that's so disgusting.
Yeah,
Gross.
dude.
No,
like,
do I know that it came from the gym? No, but these people did not know each other.
so
right?
it's
So,
kind
like-
of like it's not really a coincidence. It's
And
like
They didn't even mention the gym. I just know that they go to the gym we
Mhm.
were going to, and
So
I was
it's
like,
like
dude,
you're
that's
trying
fucking
to
gross.
put
Yeah.
2 and 2
Yeah.
together. Like
Everyone's rolling around each other's sweat. Wipe that shit down, bro.
Yeah.
That's gross.
yeah, bacteria and shit is just like always roaming on those machines because there's constantly people, all types
Yeah.
of germs and shit constantly one after another if you're not wiping it off. And even then, the stuff that we use, I mean, it's good sanitizer supposed to kill all this bacteria. Well, first of all, it's gross, just someone else's sweat, and then
Yeah.
on top of that, the bacteria, and then third of all, it's just bad etiquette, like you're
Yeah.
sweating like crazy in here. Is that okay for you to
Just leave it all
walk
over?
off?
Yeah.
It happens all the time. It's
Like I get it
typically-
on the floor. Okay, you're sweating on the floor.
like
There's always-
whatever.
I
yeah,
get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
sure.
stairmaster, like whatever. I'll clean it up later.
Yeah, but
That's
at least like
fine.
if you could wipe the board
That's-
off.
Yeah,
But like if you're leaving sweat like running down the railings and shit,
Yeah.
like come on, like people gotta touch that too. But
And cologne. Is cologne
Oh.
your third one?
no, the clone's not the third one.
Well, it should be at
for
least
you,
top
for
5.
you, it is.
A little bit,
I know who she's talking
a
about.
little
too.
body spray
like
is
just a
one
little bit.
thing.
But not the whole bottle of cologne.
But when all 3 of you come in and you're all wearing different cologne and you
Jesus, she's being specific
cover
now.
yourself
Yeah.
in it, I had to leave the Smith machine
it's like
the
6
other
in the
day.
morning too.
Dude,
Oh,
Not-
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not
Wow.
sure where they're
is
trying to smell good for.
6:45 in
Probably
the
trying to pick her
morning.
up.
No, bro.
She's like, no.
I can't
No.
even be on the Smith machine next to them. I was like, wow, this is so. I would rather
Like, my
smell
goodness.
your BO,
Yeah.
honestly, because it's not going to hit me
Well,
nearly
don't
as
worry,
hard as your.
there's that at the gym
Yeah,
too.
and I
I
expect
never
that.
figure out which
Yeah,
one I prefer. I'm like,
Well,
I expect it to
BO.
be stinky.
Mhm.
Like, I don't smell good when I leave the gym.
yeah,
But sometimes
But I'm
it's
not
like,
covering
oh,
it
you
up.
haven't showered for days,
it's like, dude,
have you?
yeah.
it's like, do you really don't smell yourself right
Yeah.
now? Yeah,
I've had people like that too that I've had to deal with, where it's like, all right, guys, we
gotta get you cleaned up,
We gotta
man.
walk.
we got to think about hygiene here. We have to work with other people. We have to sit in the same vehicle as other people. So let's make sure we shower at least daily, if
Just
you
one time a
could,
day.
especially when you get home from work. Like, I had guys like be like, oh, did you like this guy's name is he'd be pissed off if you didn't call him by his nickname. So I have to call him by his nickname. Mongo would be irritated.
Bongo or Mongo?
Mongo.
Mongo.
Yeah,
Like mango, but Mongo.
Kind of.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Not really, but yeah. He would come in. I'm like, Mongo, like, did you sleep on it? Because he would work. He got a pickup truck. You know, he'd work on his pickup truck, and I'm like, did you sleep under your truck last night? And he'd be like, And the other guys would be like, actually, yeah, he did. When we left, he passed out underneath of it, and
Underneath of it.
yeah, he was, because they were working on his truck, and just kind of, he's like, yeah, I just kind of slept there. And he was because I knew he was wearing the same clothes he had worn the day previous.
Oh man,
working a very dirty job. I'm like, all right, brother,
we gotta get you cleaned up.
Let's take a shower at the end of the day. Can
I
you do
love
that?
blue collar guys. They're my
Yeah,
favorite.
let's go home and take a shower at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then put clean clothes on in the morning. Wash the dirty ones.
Whoa.
Be like, oh, okay, boss, I'll try.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Very hard task to do.
Well, you know, you got other
Yeah,
plans.
I get it. Some people have other priorities.
Yeah, but
Gotta fix that truck, dude.
yeah, you got to.
They ain't got time to shower and all
No,
that.
I got bush lattes.
I'll just head to work. I'm gonna sweat at work
Yeah,
anyways.
I got bush lattes to drink.
Yeah.
No, the third one. See, I remember it this time. The third one is when fucking people throw chalk and bullshit all around the place.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
And their
that's a big one
equipment,
for me
they
right
don't
now.
hang up like they basically just in general, just like the filthiness of people.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
agree.
why like
It's just disrespect.
it's just
Yeah.
and letting their fucking, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Letting their fucking kids use it like chalk and paint like all, dude,
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
you know what? Even if you're gonna let that happen, like fucking clean
Clean it up
after yourself.
afterwards. Yeah, because it shows kind of like that's okay for you to just come in.
Yeah,
wreck
and
the
just
place.
fucking make a fucking mess for somebody else to clean up. Like,
Well, it
you
could
know what?
be-
Like, I get it. You think, oh, it's cute. They're a kid. It's chalk. Whatever. Okay. I disagree, but okay.
I get it. Yeah.
But
yeah.
fucking clean up after
So
yourself.
growing human being, that's where it's really annoying. It's
yeah.
like,
As the adult, fucking
well,
clean up.
The
after
other day, I
yourself.
went in there, and so we have this. It's a dip and pull up machine that's in the second room, back room, and it's got this little leather pads where you put your elbows to do like leg races or whatever. I can't figure out why there was a bunch of chalk all over those two pads where you put your elbows. Like, I mean, I
Bro,
guess
They
they're
were
like
watching the
slipping.
gymnastics.
They had to get good grip.
They've been watching the
They had to
Olympics.
get a good grip.
And they're
Like-
like, watch what I can do on these.
Yeah.
It's just
Bars.
everywhere. There's just chalk everywhere. I'm like, that's just not cool, you know. And then just all over the place. Like, typically, chalk to me is like, okay, you're gonna deadlift, great. You're gonna use that. You're gonna do pull-ups, great.
Makes sense.
You're gonna do some kind of like cleans and like whatever, anything like CrossFit related, great.
Maybe
But
even
to
if you're like
go-
max benching or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Maybe.
fair enough. Yeah, but if you're gonna go use a machine, you don't really need that. Like, that's why it's got like grip handles and all that stuff made for it.
Yeah,
but
well, you even if you want it, you sure as hell don't need to fucking
Not
crush
much
it all
of it.
over the ground
yeah,
and
yeah.
kick it around and
I
step
use
in
chalk and I never make a mess like that. So I don't know why it's so hard for others to whatever. It's
Fucking-
annoying. It's
fucking-
pretty annoying.
Fucking people.
Yeah, you just start realizing when you're the one cleaning up for people, it's like, man, some people just live in filth. and it's
Ooh,
kind of crazy.
That's true, though.
It's-
Have you ever
and it's-
watched
and it
that
goes-
show, that
yeah.
Hoarders?
Yeah, like
Ooh.
Well, you told me one time you found like crackers in the shower
Dude,
area.
I
The changing room, the shower.
I found chips in the freaking sauna.
Like, who
Like,
does
who's eating
that?
chips in this? That's such an uncomfortable place to eat. Like, it's just so hot in there. You're just like chomping on like protein chips in there. Like, that's just weird. It's kind of weird. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
So there's cameras in the gym in the front room. Is there any cameras in the back room?
I think there's a couple in the back room. Yeah.
So are you guys gonna figure out who's doing it and just be like, hey, get the fuck out?
Yeah. I wish I could have access to it. I'll literally go through that tape like crazy.
Like fucking FBI.
Like, where is it?
Yeah, because like,
it's like you do not do this here.
what
Like,
else
this
is the
not
camera
normal.
there for?
I feel like that. Yeah. I mean,
If
it's
not to. I mean,
like
obviously, something comes
security,
up missing,
right? Like something. Yeah.
but like when you have
somebody
to
does
lock,
something that they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
when you have to lock chalk up, and other members can't use it
Yeah.
because people are fuckers.
Well, yeah. I think people just kind of take advantage of, like, for the most part, we're pretty lenient with people. Like, we want to take your shirt off and go work out without your shirt. Go for it.
Well, you
Well, filming
that's not
stuff,
hurting anybody.
like, and that's fine. You're doing all these things, but then they kind of take advantage of that, and they're like, oh, well, I'm gonna drop all this chalk everywhere, and I'm gonna not wipe off the equipment, and it's just like it just becomes like lawless in there, just like nothing doesn't matter.
Sometimes
like
you gotta teach your
no,
kids what's up.
Yeah.
I will say I have no problem telling men to re-rack their weights. There was one morning where there were two ladies that were in there, and they were much younger than me. They were probably like 18, 19.
Oh, I remember.
And I just could not bring myself to tell them to put their weights away because
This-
I didn't
this
want to
old
be
bitch.
the
Like, this-
old bitch.
this-
Yes.
yeah.
old bitch.
This,
And I was like,
this
man.
Karen over here.
And they
She's
went,
just pissed that we're
"Oh."
hot.
Yeah. And it's not like I couldn't do the weight that they were
Right.
doing. So it just would have been out of like spite and be like, bitch, put your shit away.
Yeah.
I just could not bring myself to do it. I couldn't do it. I didn't want to be the old lady ruining their fun. Now, if I worked there, that would be
Yeah,
different.
then you're like,
I'd have no
you're
problem. Be
definitely
like,
just, yeah.
guys, put your stuff away. But I couldn't do it. So I was like,
Well, it just comes off confrontational, even though it's not. It's more like, hey, you're like in the wrong. Like,
yeah,
why can't you
put
re-rack
your
what
stuff
you?
away.
Why
Yeah.
can't you put the weights that you put on there back to where you found them?
Yeah. Now, if it
It's
was
a
like,
very
if it was
simple
a dude, I
task.
don't care what age he'd be. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
you're like, hey,
I would have no
can you
problem.
re-rack your weights.
Put your stuff away.
I don't. I have a hard time taking the time anymore. But I used to be really bad at that. Like when I was like in the gym, like in the
Like
gym.
when you were like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would. I was probably too much of an asshole to some people. Honestly, maybe it was borderline. But there'd be like, I'd like cheer Pete. Like my biggest thing was when dudes would drop shit. Like I hate. Why are you
Yeah.
dropping shit? It could bounce. It could break the equipment. It's unnecessary. Like there's no reason to be fucking dropping big weights unless you are like doing a 1 rep max, like legit. Like if you're legit going for a 1 rep max or
Right.
something like that, I get it. Because you don't want to hurt. Like it's better to drop the weight
yeah,
than to hurt yourself or something like that. Like totally get it. 100%.
yeah,
CrossFit, I also
get it.
kind of get it because that's kind of the sport. You have to accept kicking pull-ups. You have to accept
yeah,
dropping the weights because it's a speed and reserving as much energy as possible thing.
At least
Yeah.
they make plates that
Yeah,
are for
yeah, they
that.
make the
and
bumper
you're not
plates.
using the steel
It's
plate.
like
Totally get it. I get
Yeah.
it. But if you're some dude in there deadlifting 225
yeah,
and you're just fucking straight up standing up with it and dropping it,
yeah.
bro, I'm gonna fucking embarrass you. I am gonna fucking embarrass you. And I used
It's
to
just
do that shit.
unnecessary.
I would
And-
like clap and cheer every single time, like, woo! Like, oh, that looks heavy. And then sometimes I'd be like, I just walk up to him like, hey. And they'd be like, yeah. I'm like, hey, if you can't fucking set it down, don't pick it up.
Mm.
And they'd be like, oh.
Okay, man.
Okay. Like, there's no reason for that shit. Or like dumbbells.
Yeah.
You tell me you're gonna fucking shoulder press 35-pound dumbbells and just drop them? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, it just takes a toll on the equipment too.
Yeah, and there's
like that stuff's not indestructible. Like
if
over
someone
time,
someone walks up behind you or beside you, and that
Mhm.
thing bounces on them. Like, come on, man.
we got a mirror broken in there because someone decided to.
Yeah, see,
drop
you're just
the
proving
weights.
my point, Juan.
Yeah, mirrors are not
cheap.
so
Especially
it's
giant
annoying
ones like that.
Yeah, I mean, at least he came up and mentioned that he owned it. He's
well,
like,
that's good at least.
Yeah,
I'm glad
he smelled like a lot of cologne.
He smelled good.
It was actually one of the guys she's talking about.
Oh, that's well, good for him though.
Yeah, but it was nice that he came.
Yeah,
was like,
at
hey,
least he
look,
owned it.
I messed up.
That makes it nice.
Whatever, and I think Craig appreciated that.
Wow, do they do double duty? Do they come in the morning and in the evening?
They used to come at night, but now they've been on a morning.
I love that he knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
You bastards.
I've smelled it. I've smelled the cologne.
I know it's going
They
on
seem
here.
like nice guys.
No, they seem like nice kids.
Kids,
But
yeah, guys.
Yeah, they're young.
Kids.
They seem pretty young.
Yeah.
But it's like, 6:30 in the morning. Lots of cologne. Like
you never know.
Hey,
there's
you
some-
never know.
Maybe
yeah.
they have to go to work afterwards. They don't have time to
There's
shower.
There's some hotties in there in the morning.
For sure.
You never know.
That's funny. Hey, maybe.
Oh, that's not what I. Yeah, yeah.
maybe that's what they're prepared for.
Maybe.
You know? So, hey, I gotta smell good.
Of course they are.
Especially after sitting in the sauna.
Couple of young guys coming into the gym. What other reason they had to go in there?
Yeah, can't disappoint.
It doesn't look like they're like preparing for any like sporting events.
They're exercising to
Yeah.
be healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know. I feel like if they want to find some workout bunnies, they're gonna go in at like 5.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's-
saying they're
30
there
at night.
necessarily specifically for the workout bunnies. I'm saying they're there to get workout bunnies in general because they want to look good. And you're already going where workout bunnies are at. So just in case there's any workout bunnies there, you gotta be prepared.
So you think I should give them advice as a older workout bunny? Like,
Probably
guys,
not.
you should probably just stay to like one spray.
But
a
hey,
piece.
guys, you smell really good, but
You can tone it down
just
a bit.
one spray's good.
I bet you'd get laid faster if you only did one spray.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good way to
honestly,
Do you
approach
think I
it.
should do that?
Honestly, you could probably. They would be totally mortified, but they'd be like,
Like, that lady
All right.
told us something
"One
interesting.
spray it is."
Yeah. Yeah, one spray it is. Yeah. Hey, she's saying it. Yeah.
Maybe I will.
Like you're 6
Yeah.
sprays too many.
You gotta be really careful with the words you use. You
Yeah.
have to be very careful with how you say
Well,
it
if you word
because
it-
there's a lot of different interpretations of that situation that could occur. So
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. I don't want them
Yeah.
to think like
Like
I'm gonna
she's
lay
yeah,
them.
Yeah.
that's true.
there's a lot of different interpretation. Yeah, a lot of different ways that could go.
But I feel like somebody should give them that
Yeah.
advice.
It's like bro tip, less cologne.
Yeah.
Just a lot.
You're not
less.
my type, but
But yeah.
yeah, but I could see that as an open door
Yeah.
because if I was some young kid and some
Like,
older hot lady was
Yeah,
like, "Hey, kiddo, less spray," I'm like,
like,
because next time I'd be like, "I use less spray." Is this
It's like,
better?
just,
you
you
need to
smell
get,
it?
You need to get closer to me now,
oh
so you can smell it.
my gosh.
you know what? Maybe
That
I'll
took
just,
a
Like I
It's like,
said.
I'll just bite my tongue
Be
here.
real careful.
I might discontinue what I've been doing.
You'll just have to deal with the smell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's good.
Sometimes you got to be careful. It's all about perception. Juan,
Perception.
right?
Yeah.
I've never caught them like that one kid that I
Sneaking around.
texted you about the other day.
Oh,
I I was like, I'm pretty sure this
this guy's checking
this
you out.
18-year-old doesn't realize I'm 35.
And I was like, maybe he doesn't care.
And I was like, yeah, but then I saw him. We walked by each other and I looked him right in the eyes and I swear there was some like he realized I was much older than what he was probably.
Yeah.
thinking.
And to which I also replied, yeah, he was probably like, oh,
Was
damn,
it? Was
she
it
could teach me some
you that
things.
told me something about? That's-
Yeah.
Was it you
Okay.
that told me some guy was like, "Hey, you've lost your phone or something"? Remember that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, is it you dropped your pocket
you
or
dropped
something
your,
like
oh,
that?
you dropped your pocket. Yes.
I forgot
Oh my
about that.
gosh. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
you that told
hey,
me
you
that.
dropped your pocket.
Yeah.
And then you're like, look, because you're like, what?
I looked
Yeah.
pocket.
You're like,
like
oh.
such a dumbass.
Oh, that's
I don't
pretty
know.
good.
Fred was like, he was flirting with you. I was like, he straight up laughed in my face. Like, he was not flirting. And Fred's like,
he was
for
flirting. He
sure
just
was.
didn't know how to flirt properly.
He
yeah.
literally laughed in my
What
face,
else was he
like
doing?
like my older brother would. Like, how you fucking idiot.
I mean, he might have
You
been.
dropped your pocket. I forgot about that.
That's what it was. Not you dropped your phone.
I've never even seen him in there. I've only seen him in there that one time. You dropped your pocket.
The one time he sees her and just says this
Maybe
random
he's just
thing.
that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just that
He
guy.
probably does it to everybody.
And it's early in the morning, so are you
Yeah,
really
you're
in the
not-
No,
mood to start
I was-
fucking around with someone?
I was,
Yeah.
and I don't. It was definitely not early morning.
Oh, wasn't it?
No,
Oh.
no, it was probably.
A little later, huh?
It was probably when I was going after work at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, probably.
Oh,
That makes
you
a
gotta
lot
be
more
careful of
sense.
them afternoon motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You just never know.
There's just too many
Them
of them.
afternoon mother-
I can't go after work. There's
It gets
too many.
squirrely in the afternoons.
Yeah.
I get it. I've been there. I do forget all the characters I used to run into in the gym, like in the evenings, because I used to go after work all the time. Like on my way home, I would just go there, and it's.
But this was
obviously
prior to the
busier.
warehouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was prior to COVID and all that.
Just busy. Busy. Everyone's there.
Yeah, and like there was part of it that like that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
what
I
I mean,
mean,
because
you
like
know,
there's like an atmosphere,
The
of,
community
like-
aspect of it, and you get to see.
It's just a different. It's a good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Typically.
yeah, it's a lot
Because
easier.
everyone's in there trying to better themselves and do something
Mm.
with themselves, I think.
Yeah, and that and
Something
also too,
good.
it's like like shit. There's people around. Like, and I used to lift. I called it like power building. It was
Okay.
Like, it was powerlifting and bodybuilding. It's
Got
kind of
it.
like I did a mix. So it was like there's that also that aspect of the ego too, right? Like, well, why do people power lift? To be the strongest motherfucker in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's an ego aspect.
Yeah,
to it.
of
Same
course,
thing with
yeah.
bodybuilding. Why do people bodybuild? So they can have an aesthetic that they think is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
There's an ego aspect to that. So like you're in the gym and everybody else is doing that too. It's like,
Yeah.
is that motherfucker bigger than me?
Yeah.
No, maybe
Is it a
not.
bit too more?
Yeah. Oh damn,
Like,
that's
you'll
look at that dude.
You'll
That
see
dude's
people
fucking
like
strong.
look when you're like squatting or you're whatever.
And you
They're
don't want to.
like,
You don't want to look like a pussy.
Yeah, so it's like, all right,
So,
like
like,
I gotta
you
be
go
on my
harder,
game.
Yeah.
I gotta be
for
on my
sure.
game. Yeah. Or the same thing with like lifting with a buddy. There's that competition. Like not competition. It doesn't have to be competition or
Yeah.
against each other. I think there's too much of that too,
Mm.
where it's like people are always like, oh, if you're stronger than me, that means that somehow there's less strength that I can get.
Mhm.
Like that's like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like if people have more than you, being jealous of them and like angry at them
right.
about it.
Yeah.
Like, well, just because they have something that you want doesn't mean that they took it from you. Well, most of the time.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
But like, especially in the gym, that never made sense to me when people would be pissed off, like just because somebody else is succeeding at what they want.
yeah, it's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah, like that's awesome.
There's
Like,
a lot
all
of my
right,
buddies
How did
are-
you do that?
yeah.
Because now I want to do that. Like that's what I want to do. Like,
Yeah. A lot of the guys that I, talk to at the gym, a lot of them are way stronger than me. They're also like 10, 12 years younger than me. Not saying that just because I'm older.
Older
Older now.
Older.
Older now doesn't mean that that I'm not strong. Like I'm fairly strong. But you see these guys, you're like, holy shit, they're strong. But I'm not like, oh, fuck these guys. They're so much
Yeah.
more strong. Like, it's actually kind of cool. There's a kid in there. His name's Gabe. He's a really cool kid, and he's strong. He's very strong. Like he's like 5'6",
Oh, he's like the perfect height.
160, 70 pounds. And he's just strong. And
I
I'm
love
just like,
seeing,
Is
I
he
love
the one
seeing
that
the
you
small
were-
guys.
We were talking to him about the rucking event that Fred was doing. He was a
Possibly.
short guy, and he was
possibly
because
him.
it was that 80-pound.
I think he might have been.
ruck.
He
I
might
don't
have
remember
been.
his name, but that sparked that conversation.
Yeah.
Because he was, I don't know, does he do like powerlifting or something? He was squatting that day. I don't know.
Yeah,
You were talking to him.
the younger crowd, they like to lift pretty heavy. Like they
Yeah.
think, well, I studied exercise science, so I know that you don't have to lift extremely heavy to gain muscle or to build muscle. Like it's not necessary. there has to be a sense of intensity and
Oh
like
yeah.
several reps and that sort of thing. But you know, you squatting 405 and me squatting 225 doesn't mean like you're gonna get a lot more results. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, like strength doesn't always equate to muscle or building muscle.
Right.
But the younger crowd, they like to lift heavy, and I
Yeah.
used to love lifting extremely heavy, like because it feels good.
Yeah.
The ego, like you said,
Yeah.
and people are watching, and you're like just feel good. It's an accomplishment. Um, but yeah, it's not necessarily for building muscle. Like I can train a little different,
Mm.
and like guys like look at me, and say, oh, have a bigger chest, and like, oh, you must bench a ton. I'm like, I don't really bench that heavy. Technique has a lot to
Yeah.
do with it. Like
Yeah.
understanding how your muscle insertions are and how the movement, if
The
you do it
mechanics of
proper,
it.
the
Yeah.
mechanics of it, the biomechanics of it, if you know how to do it properly, you're gonna get really good results. Like you don't have to lift a crap ton of weight
Yeah.
and then drop the weights on the ground, all that,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely
but it's
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not
cool.
saying it's
Like, how
not because
much can
I've
I
been
do?
there, I've
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
But as you get older, and then your joints are hurting a little more, and you're starting to feel a
Yeah.
little bit more fatigued, and so
You realize that you
but
don't want to like injure yourself to a point
right,
of that you can't
yeah,
move when you get older. Because a lot of these guys, you look at like the Olympians, like in
mm-hmm.
bodybuilding, and a lot of like football players that have played for a long time. Like some of these guys can like barely walk because they abuse their body so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is that really something you like? Is that something you want to do? Like for what? Like for like if you want to be
Yeah,
like if you want to be an Olympian bodybuilder, or
yeah,
if you want to be a professional football player and that's what your dream is, then okay,
yeah,
I get it. But if you're just some dude in the gym
mm-hmm.
lifting or doing CrossFit, like tearing up your joints
Mm-hmm.
and pushing yourself harder than necessary,
Yeah,
and you're putting all that wear and tear on your body for what?
yeah. When you're
You know?
trying to go, if you're trying to go for longevity, that's not the
Yeah.
right approach. It's like a perfect example would be like Ronnie Coleman, and then you look at Jay Cutler. They both compete around the same time. Ronnie Coleman's a little older than him, but you look at Jay Cutler right now, he's like 50 something. He looks fantastic. I mean, great, like no injuries. He like tore a pec or not a pec, tore a bicep one time, and he tore it by like going into a incline press, like he was kicking back
Oh,
and then
okay.
he like tore it. But that was like a very accidental. Like he wasn't like he was PR in a squat
Right.
or something weird like that. But then you look at Ronnie Coleman, and he lifted so extremely heavy
Yeah, he
for
did.
years in every aspect of his career, and now he's like dependent on oxycontin like all
Yeah.
day, and he's in pain all the time,
I
and
saw him.
he looks terrible. Like
I saw him
it sucks,
years ago.
man. It
He
sucks
looked
to
like an
see.
old man.
Yeah,
I was like, what? Like,
and I would say Ronnie Coleman's probably like maybe tops, maybe 10 years older than Jay Cutler, maybe, or not even. So it's like you look at like the approach of like how they both lift it. One of them was like, "Hey, I don't want to fall apart when I'm older,"
yeah.
you know. And back then, the science and exercise wasn't as it is now,
Not quite dialed in. Yeah.
Like now we have so much more information, and there's studies all the time about this and that, and your cold plunge, and your this, and should you do 5 sets? Should you do 3 sets? Should you do 6 reps, or should you do like 10 to 12? Like there's all these things, and um, everything has a purpose. What I've come to find out in exercise, like I mentioned earlier, technique is just so important. Like for muscle building, it's and for lifting heavy weight, you know. But
You got to do it right.
you gotta do it right, or you're gonna get injured. And like I've never, I don't know. It's like I've heard people say before, like if you're not getting injured, you're not pushing yourself hard enough or something like that. And I'm like, well, I disagree. Like, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I also like I push myself hard sometimes, and luckily I haven't injured myself, but uh, yeah, it sucks injuring yourself, and then what? then you have to take all this time to recover, and fuck, who knows if you're able to do the lift like you have before, and you're gonna lose all this muscle while you're trying to recover from that injury. Yeah, it's just it's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that kind of mentality from like if you're looking to be like a
The greatest.
a
type of thing.
high end
Yeah.
competitor, like you're gonna get some injuries then. You know?
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to be the best, then they're probably right. But what are you doing it for? You know why?
Mm-hmm.
What do you if you're gonna be the best at your sport, then yeah, you probably are gonna have some injuries regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna make because you have to make sacrifices along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just to be healthy or go to the gym, like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? What's the goal, right? Where are we trying to get to?
Yeah. Is it lifting heavy, or do you want to build muscle?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Am I just trying to look good naked?
Yeah.
Because that's fairly easy to do. Well, the rule book's fairly easy. You know, take some determination with diet and all the other things. Right? Take some control, portion control.
Yeah, lots of portion control and showing up to the gym and
consistency.
Yeah, for weeks and weeks,
years.
Yeah, and then also the what people refer to as like deload nowadays, where you take a week or a few weeks off to rest or lower your weights or whatever. I think it's necessary sometimes. I mean,
you gotta rest.
And I feel it more like, I think it's more like fatigue from like not so physical, but it's also like your body, your nervous system. It's very, you're putting it through a lot of hard shit.
Yeah.
So I know typically what I've been doing lately is typically like 2 to 3 months, I'll take like a week off working out. I'll still walk and do some like shit around the gym, but and it feels better when I come back. I may lose a little strength, but I'll get it right back. And yeah.
Well, you have to have that repair session.
And the fatigue more than anything. I start feeling drained. Like I'm just like, oh, okay, I've been kind of overtraining now. Like too much. Like constantly gym.
Gosh, you had me deload for 2-3 weeks before that powerlifting competition.
Yeah.
Like you have to.
It probably did you pretty well too.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
She set a fucking state record.
You have to.
Yeah. The deadlift, right?
Yeah.
3 something, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 something.
Like 352 or something.
Oh, just 352. That's a lot of weight. People don't, I will say a lot of young kids like, 315, 405, the common numbers, 495.
Yeah, because you got them plates.
All the plates.
I want to put the plates on, motherfucker, the plates.
It's like most people, like average people, they can't lift very heavy.
No.
So you should be proud that you're doing whatever, 315 and the 365s. That shit's heavy.
Yeah.
If you look at it as your perception, back to perception, you look at it as like, okay, this is a 365 human you're lifting off the ground. You look at a 365-pound person, that's a pretty big person.
It's a big bitch.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah. If you look at it's not quite 600 pounds, but yeah, it's big and it's heavy and it's
really,
hard.
Yeah. It's
big, heavy, and hard.
Yeah.
3 H's.
It is.
Yeah.
It's I think
Wait, did you just say big, heavy, and hard?
Oh, I
three
did not 3
H's?
H's. Wait, heavy? No, there was only BHH there.
You should probably cut off his ribbon.
Oh my gosh,
we only had one.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's working.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, you gotta cut that out of there. Oh man,
you got to recover though,
Yeah.
right? You have to. Like you have to. Your body has to sleep, regardless of how dumb it is. Like, hey, every day.
I love sleep.
Yeah, your body's like, oh, by the way, we're just gonna shut down for a handful of hours.
Yeah,
and we're calling it.
it's got to be there for a reason.
So your body has to repair itself, right? So sometimes you need a little extra sleep. You need a little extra rest, and to deload before you. You mentioned the nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know shit about it. But anecdotally, I've witnessed plenty of times where there's not necessarily like a muscle fatigue, but there's like this drain on your nervous system, particularly when you do heavy stuff.
Yeah.
When you're doing like max effort, low rep stuff. I would come, I remember Sundays would be our bench days. And at the time I was Sundays is always like max effort day. Some days it'd be deadlift, some days it'd be bench. But regardless of that, like we wouldn't do a lot of reps for the lift, but I would always do like an hour and a half workout afterwards of like accessories and stuff, which is typical for what I do in the gym.
Right.
But that max effort and that strain you put on your body of moving as much weight as possible, just those few times, it did something to your nervous system. I'd come home and I'd sit on the couch, and then like 15 minutes after I got home, all the adrenaline and everything would wear off, and I would just like check out for 3 hours. My body was just completely wrecked, and it was just like shut down. And like I wasn't sore, like I wasn't necessarily like physically tired.
Yeah.
But everything, it just felt like internally it was just like someone come by and just like flip all the circuit breakers. Just
yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm shutting down for a while. So it's like we forget too that we have muscles, we have tendons and ligaments, and we have our circulatory system and our skeletal structure. We have our bones, and but there's this whole entire nervous system inside of our body that does all this shit that I'm not smart enough to understand, with all electrical impulses.
Just a lot of communication that's going on.
It's like,
in the
so
body.
like there's something I feel like we don't give enough balance to, that, hey, there's probably something else here. Like when we talk about even like health wise, like neurologically, like the Olympics, we talked about Simone Biles, right?
Yeah. She
got like the twisty turnies.
Twisties,
it's like,
yeah.
it's like, it's like, this isn't necessarily like people are calling it like a mental health issue, like she was making it up. But it's like, to me, what it sounds like a neurological issue. Like
her nervous system was so shocked from constantly training and doing this flips.
Whatever it is, like there's a neurological
just,
problem there. And people like how, and we can't like see it. So it's hard for us to understand. But at the same time you go, all right, you break your back and you sever your spinal column. What happens?
See it. Yeah.
You're paralyzed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, there's things here going on that that we don't typically think about. Like, oh, you can have problems with your neurological system as well. So it's like, man, we're these complex little things, aren't we?
Yeah. So a lot of people either don't know or don't realize how important that is. And then like, oh, I don't know why I'm not as strong like this day, or I don't know why I'm feeling like this, like having a hard time progressing or whatever in the gym. And a lot of times just people are not resting enough,
It could be a lot of things, right? You're not resting
enough,
you're not getting nutrition, sleep,
so
all of the things.
I will counter though.
Vitamin deficient.
I don't think a lot of people work out hard enough that they probably need to deload.
Oh yeah, that's also
and
as much
that's
as somebody
also true.
who is going in and actually
Yeah.
I don't need
the deload
weeks, because what I'm doing, I'm not powerlifting anymore. When I go in and I'm just being consistent, I'm just I'm maintaining.
I'm
like,
already doing the bare minimum.
It's just like I'm just
6 o'clock in the morning, you can only do so much.
You can only do so much.
You know,
and I guess
well, that too. Right. Like, and people think like they forget how all the different circumstances and environments change.
Yeah.
Like what you're gonna do, like how you feel that day, your body. Did you sleep? Did you eat? Did you this? Did you that? If you're used to lifting it in the evening after all day, and you have because that's when I would go and lift, because that's when you're strong. I have all day to prep. I have all day to feed my body. I have all day to be prepared. All right, go in and try to do the exact same workout at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
it's not going to work out. For you.
Yeah. It's the level of intensity. Yeah, so I guess I was using myself as an example. There was a point of my life where I was just like, especially when I was going through the whole like moving from Oregon, moving here, going through really hard times, and I was just like, I'm pushing and I'm working out twice a day. I'm doing sled pushes in the heat in there, back and forth, full speed, taking 3-minute breaks in between, projectile vomiting outside because it's so freaking tough. But stuff like that drains you. Like after I would leave the gym, felt like all the energy in the world was gone. Like I think I was just like, oh man, like it wasn't like like you said earlier, it wasn't so much physical. It was just like you could tell like the way my body was operating inside, like the nerves and all the crazy stuff that's going in there. It was just like, fuck are you doing to me, dude? Like you need to chill, you know? So, but when you get that rest and then it resets and you're like, shit, okay.
And often you're better.
Yeah.
You can do something more difficult,
Yeah.
easier. You know, it's part of it too.
But now that she mentioned that, I think in the other extreme, it's people that, and I'm not shitting on people. I'm just saying, like, the other extreme is people that go to the gym.
The vast majority of people,
that go in there.
I'll shit on them.
They'll go in there and have mediocre workouts. I'm like, push yourself. Yeah. Like, you're young. Stop fucking hanging around on your phone for 5 to 10 minutes doing a bicep curl.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
That's why I brought up not everybody needs a deload week, because me 8 years ago would have heard this podcast and been like, I gotta take a week off. I gotta deload.
Yeah,
and it's like,
don't need to deload.
I haven't even really been working out that hard. But like, this guy's a personal trainer. He said you should deload. So I'm gonna take a week off and do nothing. And
you can do whatever.
I hate for someone to hear that.
Walk in and do other stuff, other activities.
Oh, for sure.
Just no like,
move, go out, take a walk.
Don't go squatting extremely heavy or deadlifting or.
I do think those people that maybe don't need to deload, they do probably need to look at their life and figure out where they can de-stress.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that could be massive for people. I don't think people realize it's difficult to lose weight and to cut fat when you're highly stressed.
Yeah.
When you're not getting sleep, when you're stressed out, when your body is in fight or flight all the time. I don't think there's enough emphasis on what that's doing to your hormones and what that's doing to your inability to lose fat.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not need a deload, but you probably need to figure out a way to de-stress.
Yeah,
for sure.
Your cortisol levels are high.
Yeah, you're fucked.
You're fucked. And a lot of times you're not going to sleep right. You're going to have adrenal fatigue. So you're just like, it really, really screws you in that aspect. And in most cases, I mean, exercise, I feel like some people do notice a lot of weight loss, but for the most part, it's really just the food. Like, I think people in some cases can lose more weight just sticking to a nice, diet and not exercise. Lose a lot of fat, without exercising. Exercising is great though. It's just, I don't think it's, from what I've read, from all the studies that are out there, it's not that big of a factor when it comes to losing body fat. It's like a small percentage. It's like 15 to 20%.
Oh yeah, because I think a lot of most people diets are.
Because if you look at it, I mean, you can go kill yourself at the gym every day, whatever, and then you're still eating, like overeating or eating a lot of processed food and all that. You're not gonna lose body fat.
Yeah,
just not. And like what Cassie said, like if cortisol levels are high all the time, you're not sleeping, you're stressing about stuff, you're all that just completely prevents your body from actually going into using fat as energy, which is technically what burning fat is. It's just utilizing something that we stored for energy and it's just sitting there,
Yeah. And I think a lot of times a good fucking workout will help decrease your stress. And most people, when they're going in there and working out, back to that point, they're not fucking working out. I've had multiple times where, not so much recently, but back in the day, people like, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to do this, and or I'm trying to gain muscle. I'm trying to do that, and I'm just coming in the gym. I'm killing it, and I don't know what's going on. I'm just not making progress.
Yeah.
I said, well, I can't help. Like, your diet is always, that's one thing. I said, but I guarantee your workouts suck too. They're like, no. I mean, I hit it pretty hard, and then every once in a while I'll be like, all right. Tell you what, why don't you come and work out with me? We'll see how hard you hit it. And about half an hour into it, well, I don't hit it this hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you better fucking buck up because we got an hour and a half to go.
Yeah.
Like, that's if
Yeah.
if you put all your diet in line, all these different things, like you're not saying to everyone you have to go out of the gym and work out for 2 hours and kick
Yeah.
ass.
You can
That's
get
definitely not it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you can push yourself harder. You can go out and do, and the exercise helps balance all of those hormonal levels too. Like if you're just sitting
it's
around
huge, yeah.
and all you do is diet, great. You might lose the weight, but you're going to be fucking skinny fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In some
and
cases,
if you fall down the stairs, you're still going to break a fucking hip.
Right. So you still want to build muscle. Yeah. You still
So
want
like
to go.
muscle is not only important for, just lifting heavy shit or doing stuff like that, but it's like we've talked about mobility, the being able to function as a human being, like climb stairs, do these things. And just having that muscle mass on you in every regard just makes you feel better in life.
Yeah.
It makes life easier.
You live longer.
Your bones.
Well, you're gonna burn that fat faster.
You burn the
That
fat
too.
faster.
You can.
Muscle,
It's a plus. So it's not a negative. It's a plus. And but yeah, like, and to what you were saying earlier, it's like, don't bitch about you not getting results if you're not putting in the work. Like if you're going in and taking 5 minutes rest periods on a bicep curl, like, dude,
You're not getting
like you're not gonna get much out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's also
the
times too
intensity
that
up.
attendance is all that matters.
yeah,
How many times have I told you that? Everybody see,
yeah,
man, hey, I'm here today.
yeah.
Today,
You may not want to be there.
Yeah,
but
I don't
you're
want to be
there.
here. I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to really do much of a workout. Probably not going to get much done. But you know what? Fucking made it in. I'll get my stairs in, or I'll do this. Like I'll
just
do this.
staying in the routine.
routine.
Staying in the
Yeah.
routine. Same thing with your food, like your diet. Like understanding what am I putting in my face today, being conscious of that, and not having to worry about it, but just understanding. Hey, what am I eating today? Did I eat enough today? Hell, there's a lot of times I do that where I'm like, I get busy with work and I won't eat until fucking 4 o'clock. I'm like, man, I feel like fucking
Like shit. Yeah.
And it's like, fuck yeah,
Gotta
I
eat
gotta
something.
eat. Like all ends of the spectrum. Like, how am I treating my body?
Yeah.
Do I feel like shit? I don't know. Have I felt like shit for so long? I don't know how shitty I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Discipline is just such a big thing in life, in every aspect, It's just such a big reflection of who you are, like in a lot of ways. Not your full reflection of who you are, but it gives you like, oh man, this person, it's like you coming in the morning at 6 a.m. and hopping on the Stairmaster. Everyone hates the Stairmaster. You can do it the first thing in the morning. That's crazy.
Because I hate it.
But you get it out of the way, and it's like you tackle it and tell it to fuck off, and then you go about your life after that.
Yeah.
And those things are hard. Those things are hard to challenge first thing in the morning. Like, I sure as fuck don't want to do that first thing in the morning.
I think to me that's just how I've realized that those sometimes like those things are hard, and when things the very first second, the moment you realize this is gonna suck.
Mm.
If I can do it right then and there, it sucks a lot less. Because then I get it done. And I don't have to think about how bad it's going to suck. And I don't have to think about how bad I'm going to feel if I don't do that thing. I'm like, fuck, I said I was going to do that, and then I didn't, and I bitched out. Next time.
Yeah.
Next time. I'll do it next time. And you start to tell yourself that over and over and over again. And you get down in this fucking next time hole of everything. It's like, I don't want to do that. Like, this sucks. Let's just do it. Oh, I got to do this thing? Oh, that's going to fucking suck. Can I do it right now? Because I'd rather just fucking do it now. Get it over with. And then you feel better, right? It's done. I did it. Yay.
Yeah, we did it today.
I can do the next sucky thing.
Yeah.
It's raining. We were gonna go on a nice little hike. Looks like it's gonna rain. Okay. Let's hike in the rain.
Yeah.
Why not?
The initial part of it's like, oh shit, we're getting rained on. And then like 5-10 minutes in, I'm like, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just fucking water.
Yeah.
Push through it.
It's rewarding.
Those sled pushes though, bro.
Those always suck.
Those suck, man.
I just started doing those again. And when I say those, I just mean like 2.
Two.
That's it.
Well, it is more than one.
I can go there and back twice.
Yeah.
And both times recently I've texted Fred and I was like, I think I'm going to vomit and shit at the same time. And I just sit there dying.
What did I do this to
Just
myself? Yeah.
Dying. And then I saw the CrossFit girls in there the other morning and they
were doing it,
They
huh?
had more weight on than I did and they finished and I was like, fuck, they don't look like they're dying. Fred's like, I think they got it ready for you. And I was like, mother. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Some of this stuff's real gross.
It's really gross.
Yeah, it's like lunges too. The lunges always kick my ass.
Mm.
Weighted lunges. So, you know, you do them, no weight. They're tough. If you got some weight on you, man, makes you feel like absolute shit at the end of it.
It's rough.
Yeah. But it's efficient and it works. It really gives you good results. So
Yep.
that's why I
Typically,
fucking do them.
the more things,
The
more
things,
something sucks.
it seems
the
to
better it
always
is
be
for
better.
you.
Yeah. For some odd
sometimes.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not in all applications.
Not in all applications, but yeah.
But when it comes to taking care of yourself, more than likely,
mm-hmm.
the more something sucks, the better it's going to be for you.
Yeah. True.
What time is it? Oh, what are we?
5:19.
Okay.
Almost brisket time, huh?
I didn't know how long we've been going. I've just been
Yapping.
We're
2 hours and 5 minutes.
Oh, that's not too bad. I pontificated about the meaning of life there for a while, so I didn't know if we went down some kind of hole. I didn't really intend to do that. That was unintended. But sometimes
that happens every time.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's interesting. But we talk about it.
I'm not hating on it. I'm just,
You were making faces.
that's just who you are. I'm glad you have somebody else to talk to about it because our conversations,
She's like,
when it goes that way, it just kind of fizzles out because my brain just does not go there. So I'm glad you have somebody else to ponder life with.
Chronic curiosity.
Here we are. Well, Juan, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We gotta check my meat.
Let's go.
I
I almost said let's go check the meat, but yeah, let's not. I'll let you check the meat.
All right.
It was a good time.
I appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me. It was great.
If you made it this far, we greatly appreciate you joining us. Share this with someone that you think may enjoy it as well. Please contact us at chronic-curiosity.com for any and all things. We'd love to hear from you.